Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, folks, wherever you are. I hope you're having a really good day. Today is Sunday, which means we're back in the workshop and it's time to do a build stream. Something a little bit different today. We've got a Frog TKL, so I was lucky enough to be invited by Geon to buy one of the streamer editions of the Frog TKL, and it's here. It arrived about a week ago, a week on Monday. It arrived a week ago, but yeah, today is the first chance I've had to build it, so that's what we're going to do today. Big shout out to Anarchy, who got first in chat. He said, "Evening, Jay. I hope you've had a good weekend. Building cubes is better than football." I agree, but a lot of people like the football, so there is a ticker up here somewhere there where you can see the score if you're interested. I'm probably going to be ignoring it, but hey, that's just the way it is. I'm not a football fan. We've also got Karcher here. He says, good evening. Good evening, Karcher. Glad you're here. Peter Poppins is here as well. Origin Technologist says, wow, amazing you'll be streaming on a football night. Yeah, I'm the least educated person on football and on what's happening in the sport. All I know is England got through to the final. We shouldn't be in the final because the penalty was not a penalty. Italy are going to win, right? That's what I've been told. That's what I know. That's what I understand. I don't care. Origin Technology says, fair enough. I hope it will be coming home, mate. I genuinely don't mind either way. It can or it can't. I don't care. What I do care about, though, is Goodwood. And I know that you are at Goodwood because you just said that you arrived from Goodwood. You spent the whole day there yesterday. It was epic. I didn't get a chance to go this year. I went a few years ago and I absolutely loved it there. I hope to be able to go next year. Goodwood is amazing. So, yeah, I'd like to take one of my classic cars down there, do the hill climb, have a bit of fun. Maybe. We'll see. One day, maybe. Bob Sachs says, what colour frog? It's a black frog. I did buy some of the extra goodies as well, and it is one of the streamer editions ones, so I did get it a little bit cheaper than everyone else, so I'll be open and honest about that. But it's a black one. I didn't have the colour choice that everyone else had because I went for the streamer edition one. But yeah, I haven't opened it yet. I haven't even looked at the board as yet, so I'll be doing that live on stream, and you guys will get to see my reaction as I open it for the first time live. Wait, what? Wait, what? England 1-0 already? I can't believe that. That's got to be a lie, right? The ticker I'm using here can't be right? Yeah, okay. I have no idea whether that's right or not. Zombie's here as well. He waves. Hey, man, good to see you. Nerdy's here too. He says, hello. Hello, mate. Pork Sausage Thief says, wow, is my timing that good? It loaded just as you started talking. Well, thank you very much for being here, man. I do wait for the bot to ping in the server, so if you've seen the bot ping and joined it, could be the reason why it timed up nicely. Unusual is here as well. It says, evening, Jay. Hey, man, good to see you. Thank you very much for being here. Thoughts on tape mod? Just found out about the mod. So the tape mod has been around for quite some time. Matt the Pokemon Kid, who's a member of the UK community. Nerdy, thank you so much for the subscription, man. Thank you. Huge hugs for that. Thank you, dude. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, Matt the Pokemon Kid, who he's one of the founding fathers of the UK mechanical keyboard community. He's been doing the tape mod since, I want to say 2016, and it seems to have just caught on. I don't personally like it. I don't think it adds anything to it, but yeah, it's just one of those things. Sosna says, loving the new backyard shed. It's not a backyard shed, it's proper soundboards, insulation soundboards. Like, they're 130 quid a panel, they're not cheap. And there's like 20 panels I needed, 10 panels I needed, not 20, 10 panels I needed. I had a cheer from the pub a few doors away, so it might be right. Fair enough, man, fair enough. KZNE's here as well. He says, hello. Hey, man, good to see you. But thank you again to Nerdy for that Prime subscription, man. Thoroughly appreciate that, dude. Thoroughly appreciate that. Okay, so, as I say, we are going to build the Frog TKL today. I'm going to be incredulous at that score above for England 1-0. I don't believe that that's a thing. I just can't see England winning it. But anyway, you guys are going to get to do two things today as well. You guys are going to help me pick the switches that we put in the build, and you're also going to help me pick the keycaps that we put on the build at the end. So I did go for the black frog, and I'll show you guys now what switches we've got up front, so you guys can tell, maybe have a think, but we'll have a vote on it later on. So the actual vote will take place later on. I'll do a proper poll in Twitch. You guys can select the switches we use. Those are the switches we're going to use, but we're going to take a look at everything before you do that. So I'll show you guys the switch options first. We have Alpaca V2s. We also have H1s. So the Alpacas are completely stock, unchanged, completely stock. The H1s are lubed with 205 grade 2. We have some Lilac linear switches. These are lubed with 205 grade 2 as well. or we have some stock Gateron Lion switches, which just came in a couple of weeks ago. So those are the 4 choices of switch. As well as that, guys, you're going to get to choose keycaps. Now, there's about 10 keycap sets that I've picked up for this, because some I missed and haven't used for a while, and some I wanted to give you guys a thought on. Others because I thought it might suit the board, and a couple of wild cards in there as well. So, in a few minutes' time, or when we get to the end of the stream, you guys are going to get to pick from the keycap sets we use. You're going to get to pick from GMK Oblivion at round 1 Hagaramo base. You're going to get to pick from GMK Skydolch. Focus, please. There we go. You're going to get to pick from GMK Red Samurai. GMK Merlin. You think I'm done? I'm not done yet, guys. I got a couple more choices for you here. Whoops. GMK Future Funk. Wait, come on, focus. There we go. Or finally, GMK Muted. There is going to be quite a few choices for you from the end of the stream, guys, to select and let me know which keycap set you want. So that's going to happen at the end of the stream after we've completed the build. You guys will get to pick those. But before we get to that, we are going to take a look at the board and see how it's there. Radar Noir, thank you very much for the follow. Victo as well, thank you so much for the follow. Angry Tasty Pastry as well, thank you so much for the follows, guys. Fully appreciate that. Thank you so much. Nerdy says Oblivion. Yes, we'll see. We'll see on Oblivion. We'll see. Like, it depends on what you guys vote for in chat, because it is all about what you guys vote for. So we'll see. There's plenty of choices there, whether you want something a bit more wacky and out there, or whether you just want something safe and serene. The choices are there. There's some solid choices. Tomasi says, I was going to sell Heavy Industry and Burgundy, ended up trading them for a Cypher. That's not a bad deal, man. Cypher's a great board. Max is a great designer. The Cypher is a fantastic board, so I think you'll be very happy with that. Trolling Cootie, thank you so much for the follow, man. I really appreciate that, my dude. As I say, we are going to be building a Frog TKL today. You guys are going to get to choose the switches in just a minute. Then we're going to take a look at the board. Then we're going to build it. Then we're going to choose some keycaps together. Then we're going to do a typing test. And then we'll see where we get to. Unusual, thank you so much for the subscription. Thank you, guys. Thank you. All the love today. Thank you very much. I do not deserve this. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, right. But let's flip over to the cameras. You should let us know if you have any artisans that match the key set, so we can make a more informed decision. We are not using an artisan on this build today. No artisan on this build today. No artisan on this build on this build today. The frog is coming home. You're right, it is. You're damn right it is. Sir Andrew Ryan says, have you seen the fancy display stands on Geek Hack? No, I do sell stands that I produce myself here in the warehouse. I have a 3-tiered stand as well that I use back here. But yeah, I make my own stands, so I haven't seen them. But yeah, I'm sure the ones that are on there are great. Yeah, so we're not going to be doing artisans today, Nerdy. We're just going to do the build and just plain keycaps. Going to keep it nice and simple. I think often artisans can be a devil in the detail kind of thing. Wall panels look sick. Great, thanks, man. Yeah, they are going to change a little bit, and there's going to be some more stuff to go up and things like that. Some artwork to go up and things as well. So the office isn't going to be finished until this time next week, I think. I've still got to paint the rest of the office, which is a day's job. Most of the office has moved around. I've got another sideboard that's coming on Thursday that's going to go on the far side of this desk, which just blocks it off from the rest of the room. Yeah. Lots to do. I need to make a new sign. So on Tuesday, I'm going to do a workshop build stream where I'll actually be out in the workshop using the laser cutter. We're going to do 2 things. We're going to heavily modify a GeonWorks F18X, and I mean heavily modify it. And at the same time, I'm also going to make a new sign for prototypists, because I used to have a sign on this back wall just off camera, but it was a little bit. It was the first thing I made with the laser cutter, and it wasn't the best quality. I've learned a lot since then, and I think I'm going to do something a little bit different. So we're going to make that on Tuesday night as well. So about Tuesday night, about 8-9 p.m, something like that UK time, we're going to do both of those. We're going to heavily modify with the laser a GeonWorks F18X, and we're also going to make a new sign for here in the workshop. As well as that, I've also got some frames for some artwork coming. The Keep Town poster that you might have seen on Top Clack that Brian and I talked through on Friday, that's actually going to be framed, and that's going to be on the wall behind me as well. So lots to come and to go around and to change in the office just yet. So the office revamp has not finished yet. No, it's going to take some time, another week at least. And the final thing to do is some cables as well. So I have some cables that do the overhead cam, and they basically run they just drop down behind the monitor here. They're actually going to go through the ceiling and then come down the wall on the inside of some of this paneling, be tucked behind it basically, so they're hidden, and then that's going to just be all a little bit neater and tidier. So that all still needs to happen, but yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there. Okay, time to flip over to the build stream cam, and there we go. You can now see my desk. The first thing to do is to show you guys the board that we're going to be building today. Gotta love a good coffee. Okay, let's put the switches down first. Now, I haven't opened this at all since it arrived. This is brand new to me. I haven't looked at it. I haven't even unwrapped it. So first things first, the GeonWorks F1 boards and the Frog boards come in these lovely carry cases. This is actually slightly different to the carry case that I have for all my F1s. I think I have 6 or 7 of those now. This is a slight bit different carry case. It doesn't have the GeonWorks logo on the top, and it isn't the same material. It's actually a much more robust material. I think this is nicer. It's also got nicer tassels. It's got the nicer GeonWorks tassels here that you can see. I'll just show them up to the camera. They look pretty smart. Let's take a look inside. Wonder if the key poster with everyone is going to be made into a desk mat. I don't know, Trolling Cootie. I don't know. I have the poster. I don't know about a desk mat. It'd be cool if it could be made into a desk mat, but I feel like it's the wrong orientation. Like, you'd have to do a lot of moving around to make it a desk mat. Okay, so opening it up, we see we have a couple of things. We have nice GeonWorks bag here. I assume that's got the keyboard in. We'll take that out and put it to one side. We have some separators, and underneath we have some bags, some GeonWorks sealed bags, and some small bags as well. I did buy quite a few extras, so we might see some extras in here as well that aren't just standard with the board. And then in the top half of the case, behind this nice padded shelf part, there's another GeonWorks logo package, and another one, and another one. Lots and lots of things in there. So, there we go. Pretty nice. Let's pop that to one side. Where did I get the desk mat I'm using today? This is actually from Keycaps. So this is the the Alpha Keycaps, not Keycaps. Alpha Keycaps. It's based on all of the different owls and Salvadors that he does from the Kipuras and Salvadors that he does. It's artwork based on that. So all of these are different owls. They're basically different Kipuras and colorways. And then you've got the dogs, which are Salvadors. It's kind of cool. Yeah, it was for sale a few months ago. I picked it up. This is the first time I've used it. So yeah. Okay, so that's everything we got here. Let's take a look in these white packages first and see what we've got to play with. I think looking at by holding this up to the light, this is a plate. So let's take a look and see what it is. Yeah, I'm not sure if it was Shangmu that did them or not. I think he just helped them out. I don't know how that worked, but yeah. Okay, so here's the plate. Comes nicely wrapped in this paper with a GeonWorks label. I like that a lot. Okay, so we have a plate that's got a lot of gaps missing on it. That's interesting. It's going to act not quite like a leaf spring, but almost like a leaf spring in places. There's plenty of flexibility cuts. Nice laser etched GeonWorks logo here. That's laser etched in. There's also the Designed by Glare logo there as well. Looking at the back, looks pretty standard. It's aluminium, nicely anodized. The anodization quality is really, really good. Lots of cuts. This is the fixed ISO version, as you can see. It's the fixed ISO version, but it does have some compatibility with it. Taropi, thank you so much for the follow, man. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. So you can see it does have some compatibility with it. You can have split or full left shift, stepped or full caps lock. The F row is open. I guess that depends on which version of the board you have. Whether you have the F13 or the F12, so that's all open, so you can do different things up here. You can have full or split right shift. You can have full or split backspace. Bottom row, I think it supports 2 different bottom rows. Looking at this, 7U and 6.25U. Maybe even a 6U bottom row in there as well. So yeah, plenty of options on there. Semi-fixed, I'd call it. Standard TKL area here, just some cutouts in the middle there. Pretty solid. It's a good looking plate. I like that. Toropi says, aloha fam. Hey man, thank you very much for joining. I appreciate the follow, and I appreciate you being here as well. Okay, so taking a look at this one, I think this is going to be the PCB, in which case that's a PCB as well, so we don't need to open it. Because I did buy 2 PCBs for this. And here we go. This is the PCB we've got here. This is the patchy PCB. Looks like it's designed by Zealous, and it has a little clapping emoji on it as well. Looks fairly standard. Supports both ISO and ANSI. It's a pretty nice PCB. Supports pretty much anything you could need it to. It is USB-C, which is good, although the USB is top mounted onto the top of the PCB. Interesting design choice. Usually I prefer the USB to be as low down on the back of the board as possible, but here it's connected to the PCB. That's probably to reduce costs. It means that there's no need to have a daughter board and a separate groove and cutout for the daughter board and the cables and everything else. So probably to reduce cost. There we go. That's the plate we have. In the first packet of these, we have some black feet. Designed by GeonWorks. These are injection molded rubber. So these are silicone, injection molded silicone. Designed by GeonWorks. It does have tabs that clip into the bottom of the board by the looks of it on the underneath, which is good. Means that you can't get them in the wrong way around. Also means they're reusable as well, so you can take them off and put them back in if you need to. No need to glue them in. That's good. I like that. Interestingly, so the molded parts on the rear, this is going to be really hard to show you. They have like a little lip on them. So just on this round bit here that you can see, there's like a little lip about 1 millimeter from where it touches this edge. So between this inside edge and the circle bit, there's just like 1 millimeter in. There's like a little lip that's just going to hold it in place. It's really difficult to show you that, guys, on camera. Maybe if I show it on this camera, I don't know. I don't think it's going to show. I don't think I'm going to be able to show you, but it is there. You're going to have to trust me, guys. There's like a tiny little lip that's just going to hold everything in place. So we do have some black feet. Silence Keyboard says, "Thank God for a good football substitute." I like the puns. I like the play on words there. Substitute football. Haha, very funny. I'm doing well. Thank you very much for being here, man. Thank you. I also picked up some of the brown feet as well, because why not? So these are the same, but just in brown. We'll decide which ones go better with the board at the end. Any thoughts of the tape mod trend? So I was talking about this earlier, Sol, and the tape mod, as I'm aware of it, it's something that's been in the UK community for quite some time. Matt, the Pokemon Kid, who's one of the founding fathers of the UK community, he's been using it since 2016, I think. He used to put hockey tape on top of the PCB and then put the stabilizers on that. And this was at the time that the Band-Aid mod was at the peak of its popularity, and he changed to using tape instead. I'll be honest, I don't like either the Band-Aid mod or the tape mod. I prefer to just have my stabilizers as they're intended to be in the PCB. I don't feel like either are needed. I feel like if people are using them, it's often a substitute for a poorly tuned stabilizer. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's my take on it anyway. And feel free to disagree or agree. You know, the whole beauty of this hobby is that it's for different people. This is a different mod. Oh, in that case, I'm not aware of it. Is this the one where you wrap the wire in tape, like Rama was doing a couple of years back? Because that's crap as well, if I'm honest with you. That doesn't make any difference whatsoever. If it's neither of those, tell me and I'll take a look at what the mod is. Okay. Covering the bottom of the PCB with painter's tape. Taping the back of the PCB. For what purpose? For what purpose? Putting tape on the bottom of the PCB, like taping all across here? Masking tape? Painter's tape? For what purpose? Why would you want to do that? What's it gonna add? Yeah, okay, you've all said putting tape on the back of the PCB. What's it gonna add? It works. To do what? To do what? I would be very surprised if it did that, Trade Splatter. I would be very, very surprised if tape was enough of a modification to do that. I do not believe that adding some tape, because like I've experimented with tape in the bottom of cases before, and putting it onto the PCB or the bottom of the case should make no difference, and it doesn't really make a difference in the bottom of the case. I don't think that it would make much of a difference. I suspect that there are better ways of dealing with that. If you've got a board that sounds bad, either the design of the board is bad or the build's bad. Those are the two things. Anything's fixable eminently just through the build, not needing to have to put substitutes like tape on the bottom. Like, I don't feel like it's a sticking bath plaster, right? It's not going to cure the illness. It's just going to put a badge on it. That's all it's going to do. Like, I don't feel like that's something that would be worthwhile. It's not something I'm eminently interested in trying. The other thing as well is I don't want the bottom of my PCB to get all stuck with tape. Painter's tape is very gummy on the backside. That's not the kind of thing I'd want to get all over my PCB, and it just feels like an added step to add very little benefit. Like, you can usually get a board to sound way better just by tweaking the build. I feel like that's just it's a crutch. It's a sticking plaster to try and make something better. It's a trend I guarantee that will disappear in the next 6 weeks, 8 weeks. If I'm wrong, you can tell me, and I'll eat my words. I will eat my words, and if I'm wrong and it's still a massive thing in the hobby in 6 to 8 weeks time, I'll build a board with it. Okay, let's make that as a deal. If I don't believe it would add enough value to me to be able to do it, but if it's still a massive thing in 8 weeks time, then I will build a board that way just to see how it does. Okay, how does that sound? I've built thousands of boards now. I can't see that making enough of a difference for me to do it. Like, I just feel like it's a way to make a bad board sound better. Maybe, sure, but is it going to make that much difference? Probably not. Is it a realistic way of fixing a bad sounding keyboard? It's a crutch. It's a sticking plaster. It's not a real solution, in my opinion. But yeah, feel free to clip it, Socialite. Feel free to clip it. If it's still a big thing in 8 weeks time, I will try it. My thoughts on it right now are that sounds a really bad way to fix a problem that could be fixed in way better ways. Like, that would be an absolute last resort for me. Does make a surprising difference. I agree that it's a crutch for a bad sounding case, but it does a much better job than foam does. I can't watch the videos while I'm streaming. No, I'm not gonna click on random links in the chat while I'm streaming. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna do that. But I'll maybe watch them later on. But the thing is, I don't like sound tests anyway, because sound tests can be affected by so much that it's untrue. Like, I can make my board sound different on my desk just by pressing my knees upwards onto the bottom of the desk, and the board will sound 10 times different. Like, I feel that sound tests are very nefariously incompatible with what real world situations are. Like, you can take your board into a different room and it's going to sound different. I guarantee if you take your keyboard and you put it on your kitchen worktop and you type on it there, it's going to sound a lot more pingy than it does on your office in your on your desk in your office. Like, it just does, because it's in a different room with a different acoustic setup, and it's on a different workflow table that has different support. It's probably not on carpet. It's probably on, like, you know, some cupboards underneath or whatever. Everything makes the board sound different. So there are ways of making a board sound different with two different sound tests, and you say it's one thing and it's something else. I don't like watching sound tests for purely that reason. They're just so inconsistent, and they don't offer any real world value to me, because I'm not in that room. I don't have that desk. I don't have that desk mat. I don't have that keyboard with those switches looped in that exact way on that particular PCB, built and soldered in that particular way. Like, there's so many tiny things that can affect sound that I just don't believe that sound tests offer me any real value, other than just being ASMR, right? Mr. Petrov, really good question, says, I really don't understand the distinction between a crutch and not a crutch. Is lube a crutch? Is filming switches? What makes something a crutch versus not? It's a really good question, Mr. Petrov. My view on this is some products are designed for keyboard use, and they've come into the common lexicon because they vastly improve the way that we can do things and the product that we can have at the end of the day. I am of the opinion that sticking tape to stuff is not going to add any valuable thing that's there in a permanent solution. Like, it just feels like it's going to ruin A, the aesthetic of the board, and B, it's going to get sticky on the underneath. Like, when gaffer tape and painter's tape gets hot, the gum on the back of it does become really sticky, and it can stick to the PCB. PCBs and keyboards can get warm underneath, especially if you've got LEDs. So I feel like that's a bad way of doing it. But I think that the main thing, the difference for me is between a crutch and not a crutch is something inherently accepted within the community. And I can appreciate that that might change over time. The Band-Aid stabilizers was never used to be seen as a crutch. It was seen as the done thing. Now it's seen as a crutch to fix poorly tuned stabilizers. So things can filter in and out of being a crutch, in my opinion, depending on the common lexicon of the hobby and where it's headed. So things will change. Foam also tends to deaden the sound of the switch, which the tape does not in my experience. I haven't tried it myself, but the difference seems paramount enough to notice a change in sound through YouTube, Twitch on PC speakers. It's a really low effort mod, worth trying it off stream. I don't build off stream for myself. My keyboards all get built on stream. I only build for other people off stream, so yeah. I don't agree with giving an opinion without trying it though. I feel like I've done enough things with keyboards and tried putting so many different things in the cases that I can have a good idea of what things are and aren't going to do. But as I've said, if I'm wrong and it's still a thing in 8 weeks time, I will build it and I will give an honest opinion whilst I build it on stream. We'll build a board, we'll try it without, we'll try it with. In fact, what I'll try and do, I tell you what, here, how about this? I will get 2 F1ATEXs. I will have one that's already built. We'll build another one with the exact same specification, the same switches, the same stabilizers, the same lube, everything else. We'll build the 2 boards. We'll check that they sound almost identical next to each other on the desk. And then we'll take one apart and we'll put the tape on the back of the PCB. We'll re-put it back together and we'll have both boards side by side. If it's still a thing in 8 weeks. So someone remind me in 8 weeks time, if it's still a big thing in 8 weeks, I will do that test. We'll get 2 F1ATEXs and that's what we'll do. That's how we'll build them. 2 full aluminium cases and we'll use the same PCB, the same plate, the same stabilizers, everything. And we'll see what the difference is. How about that? Right, okay. So, as well as all of the things that we got here, we do also have 3 small packets with some little bits and pieces in. So here we have some of the little tadpoles and screws. I'm not sure what's in the rest of these packets, but that's what's in that one. Oh, different weight tadpoles. So we have some different weight tadpoles. So we have some light teal and we have some lighter blue. So we do have 2 different colours of tadpoles. So we'll see how these affect the build when we put it together. I like that they're called tadpoles as well, keeping the frog mythology. Sounds good to me for science. I'm always happy to do things for science, but I'd be very surprised if it changed anything to that degree. Like, is it going to make me want to put it in every board? That's the question. That's the difference between a crutch and not a crutch. Mr. Petrov, here's a good definition for you. If you want to put it in every board, it's not a crutch. If you don't want to put it in every board, it's a crutch. How about that for you? That's the definition. Everyone wants to put looped switches in pretty much every board. People rarely use stock switches. I'm probably one of the few people that do use stock switches sometimes. So I think that's what discriminates between what is a crutch and what isn't a crutch. Okay, now it's time to take a look at the board itself. Different board designs benefit different things. Films aren't always needed for switches. Then we go back to my original definition then is it accepted by the community to do that? Yes or no? Pour gasket's not always beneficial. I think you would probably just classify it as different things, like gasket. Just gasket, lube, you know, you wouldn't necessarily classify it by the different types of materials, right? Because then you'd be able to look at different material case types, like aluminium versus brass versus copper versus titanium versus whatever else. So I think that's a bit of a different way of looking at it. Okay. So let's take a look at the frog. So this is the first time I've seen it. I haven't opened it as yet. This is all sealed. I'm seeing it for the first time with you guys. Comes in this nice little pouch. I did go for the black one. And here we go, guys. Here is the frog TKL. I love this front edge. So if you can't see, this front edge has got a nice chamfer to it. Plenty of brass there. I like the GeonWorks logo in the middle. the little frog logo. The two stages of the brass on the inside look really good. I like how that's done. I like the chamfer getting deeper towards the deeper keycaps, shallower towards the front. I think that works really well. Anodizing is pretty good. It's better than my F1 Atex in black. It feels like it's definitely a high quality anodization job. Some sticky on the board here from the envelope. I don't like that it comes in an envelope. Like, I get that it's padded, but I don't like that it comes in that. I feel like, don't know, I don't like that, but I do like the board. The anodization is way better than it was on the F1 series. Okay, the color's pretty good as well. The color matching is really good. There's a tiny bit of difference between the two, but not much. Base looks really good. I like the design of the weight. The frog looks good, and the logo in the middle. Interesting. Okay, let's take this apart and take a look inside. It's lovely, right? Cherry lip is life. I agree. Yeah, I agree. Cherry lip is life. What size screwdriver do we need? This one. Charlie, thank you so much for the follow, man. I missed that a few minutes ago, but thank you very much for that. I appreciate that, dude. Still England 1-0 apparently. I still can't believe that it's 1-0. Apparently they scored in like the first minute or something. That seems a little bit suspect to me, knowing what little I know about football. Longer screws for the back. I like that it's only 6 screws. It's nice. Sometimes I find that some boards just have way too many screws in. Like you get 5 across the middle of a TKL. It just seems overkill. 6 is a good number. Okay, let's take a look at how this board goes together now. Okay, so we can see where the tadpoles fit. There's these little milled holes for the tadpoles to sit in to hold the plate in place. It's good. Some nice case alignment touches here. I like to see that. There's a little, if the camera focuses. Come on, camera, please. There we go. There's little grooves here for the case alignment. They're on both sides. That's good. I like that. Very simple to machine. There's no overrun marks or anything on this. Like it's done to a high quality even on the inside. There's no overrun marks. There's nothing else. Everything's done really nicely. Even the inside edges of like the switch cutouts, even these inside edges here, it's not going to focus on it because it's too fine detail. Even the inside edges here, these are chamfered very slightly. Very, very nice attention to detail. I can't see any hook marks. But I can see that there's no anodization in the screw holes, so I assume that it's being hung from the screw holes to anodize it. Oh wait, do we have a hook mark? Okay, so we do have hook marks. Very, very slight hook marks. They're just on the inside lip on here. It's not gonna, you're never going to see this on camera, but there is just on this inside lip here, there is just 2 tiny little hook marks, one here and one here. They're only on one side though. 2 very, very small hook marks. Okay, looks pretty good. Inside the case, I love little details like this. Like there's the little stepped design here. That's really cool. I like that a lot. You can still see some slight milling marks on the inside of the case, even though it's anodized. But that's all inside. That's fine by me. This internal brass weight is huge. It's adding quite a ton of chunk to the board. Let's see if we can take this out. You should try the Midway 60. If I had one to try, I would do. Okay, this is nicely done. I can already tell this piece of brass is really nicely done. And now the screw's stuck on the end of the screwdriver, so we're just going to screw that back in. And then we're going to loosen the screwdriver, and then we're going to undo it again. And now it should come off. There we go. Let me know what you think to the design in chat as well, guys. Okay, let's take a look at this brass weight. So it's nicely finished on this side. Does that finishing continue? Okay, so this is really nice. Okay, so this piece of brass is actually finished the same on both sides. It's actually reversible as well, so you could put it in both way around. It's a complete mirror image of itself. But this is finished the same way on both sides. That's really nice. Like I was expecting what's the inside of the brass piece that you don't see to be a little bit rougher, but that's really, really nice. The screws are the countersunk, so you can't actually flip it over, but you could flip the piece over and it'd fit. But if you want to screw it down, the screw holes need to go one way. But that's really cool. Both sides again chamfered on these edges, so these edges are chamfered on this top side, and they're also chamfered on this inside as well. That's really nice. Taking a look at the inside of the board, exactly the same mill marks on the inside as you'd expect. I do like this raised badge in the middle. This is really cool. That's a really cool little design detail. I like that a lot. Right. Yeah, I did say the screws are on the countersunk on one side. Yeah, I did say that, yeah. This is impressive as hell. For the price, I don't know how he makes it so cheap. Okay, let's put that piece back in. We're not going to screw it down just yet because it does, the same screws also hold in the reverse weight, which is here. So this is the weight for the outside. This is really, really nicely milled. Like there's so much detail milled into this. Like if you look down these grooves, there's so much detail milled into this. These little nubbins for the screws, they're about 5mm tall, and they're all chamfered as well. They're threaded nicely. Sandblasting is really good. Chamfers on all sides because of course this is the outside of the board as well. That's really, really nice. It doesn't look like it's coated, so it's going to end up with fingerprints on it if you're not careful. But yeah, big fan of that already. Let's try popping that back together. There we go. I have no idea, even already looking at this, how the streamer edition of this only costs $250. Like, even in materials alone, that's cheap. Okay, so outside weight's now back in, and the inside weight is held in as well. I'm just going to screw that all the way in. Okay, that's a solid slab of brass for the middle though. The key to it, I think, is keeping that internal piece of brass nice and thin. That helps keep the price down because you're only buying like a slab that's, you know, 7 or 8mm thick, and you can buy ingots that are 7 or 8mm thick rather than having to buy a nice big chunky piece of brass. You can actually buy it in thinner sheets, which helps keep the price down, I suspect. The weight itself though, the external weight that screws into the bottom, like that's a chunky piece of brass either way. Impressive to keep the price so low. Okay, so that's the case done. I'm very impressed with that. I don't understand how there's even a way that this is $250. I mean, just look at it. Even difficult to mill two-part operations like this, that's just so neat and tidy. And that's not a regular curve. The curve gets sharper as it gets further towards the back. So it's a straight line and then it curves inwards. So it's not even like it's this curve isn't even off a circle. So like you couldn't draw a circle through this curve. There's actually 3 or 4 different curves to make up this circle. That's kind of impressive. Very impressive. And of course it's slanted inwards as well. So to mill this out, you've got to, yeah, you've got to do a few different operations to get that so nice, I think. It's very, very cool. And the way that it blends into the chamfer on this front edge, like, I don't know how I could show you this, but the way it blends in, this line here blends into the actual chamfer on the bottom of the case. That's so nice. It does it at the rear as well. Very, very clever. Okay. Board to one side, we've looked at the board. It's now time for you guys to pick switches. So you guys are going to do a poll, and I'm going to set that up, and you guys get to pick some switches. So let me set the poll going, and then whilst the poll's running, I'll talk about the switches and let you know, guys, what they've got done to them, how they're modified. There we go. So I'm going to start the poll, and then while the poll's running, I'm going to talk to you about the switches that I've got. Okay, so the first pack of switches here, these are Gator Lion switches. They're basically Gator yellows that have been recolored. These are completely stock. They're unlubed. This is how they came from the factory. I haven't changed or tweaked them in any way, shape, or form. They've got this cool red colored top and white colored base, but they are effectively just a Gator yellow. So that's switch 1. Switch 2. We've got some lilac linears. These have been lubed with 205 grade 2 by Matt the Pokemon Kid here in the UK. They're very, very nice, and this will be the last time I get to use them, I think, because this is the last one we'll be able to build with them. But yeah, they're very, very, very nicely lubed. We also have some H1 switches which have been lubed in the same way. Neither of those have been filmed. Both of them are brand new, but they've literally just been opened to lube them with 205 grade 2 and then put back together. The H1s are the same as well. And then finally we've got some stock Alpaca V2s as well. So this is a full pack of Alpaca V2s. These are not the silent version, they're the standard linear version. That's it. You guys now have 4 switches to decide from. Those are the switches. Okay, let's catch up. Let's catch up on chat. See where you guys are talking to. Screws on account sunk on one side though. Yes, we talked about that. Geon does insane work. He does, yeah. Any reason for the 2-piece weight design besides aesthetics? I think it'll help the sound. Bless me. Hay fever. I think it'll help the sound on the deeper caps. So the caps that are taller have more space underneath them for sound to build and resonate. So I suspect it'll make those sound even deeper and it'll get lighter as you get to the front of the board. But I haven't listened to any sound tests of this board, so we'll see if that theory pans out. Does he see it himself? He has his own workshop, yeah, Mr. Petrov. So Geon runs a mill. It has multiple CNC machines in there, and his team make these for him, yeah. Making in-house means that you can design it to have high details than if you were outsourcing the manufacturing, so could not control every step of the process. That's true, yeah, that's true. But running a CNC shop is not cheap. It's really not cheap. Anubis, clickies let go. No, I have Anubis switches in the Primus, so I'm not going to put Anubis switches in this. I'm so happy that Geon is making batches for the Frog. I missed out on the first drop. Yeah, I was lucky enough to be invited to have a streamer edition, so yeah, I'm very, very fortunate from that perspective. Soul says, Frog was my first board with a curved side. Didn't know how much sexiness I was missing out on. Yeah, it's lovely. It's really lovely. GRLDT says, am I the 600th follower? I have no idea. Maybe. I don't really track that number. But perhaps. But thank you very much for the follow either way, man. Thank you. Anubis switches are quite possibly my favourite tactile right now. Yeah, you're not wrong, Trolling Cooking. They're probably my favourite tactile right now. Probably my favourite tactile right now. Okay, so the vote's about halfway over, and it looks like Lions and H1s are winning. So it seems that you guys want to either see H1s or Lions in there. So the battle's now between lubed switches or completely stock switches. That's the battle right now. Which do you want to see? I'm surprised that alpacas are so low. Given how quick the alpacas sold out on the website, I'm surprised it's so low. Lube. Yeah. Apparently Twitch blocks that out when I say that on Twitch now. If I say that word, apparently there's like 20 seconds either side of audio that's removed. Tried to get a dark green one, didn't manage to get a black either. Yeah, I think if I could have picked the streamer ones, it was either silver or black. Those were the only 2 choices I had. If I could have picked any color, I would have picked the green one, and I'm kind of jealous of Mr. Petros because he does have a green one, so I'm a little bit jealous of that. I wish I'd been able to pick one up. How do I like lavenders? They're probably my favorite linear switch right now. I will actually be building my next keyboard with lavenders because I actually have more to go in stock on the website. So yeah, I've got like 25,000 of them that need boxing up at the minute, backing up at the minute in the warehouse. So yeah, lavenders are quite possibly my favorite switch right now, linear switch. Okay, almost there, guys. Looks like the H1s are going to win. 14 votes for the H1 switches. Very interesting. Was not the switch I was expecting you guys to go with. I thought you guys were going to go with the alpacas. But I'm already prepping for the H1s to win, though. I'm already prepping for H1s to win. Lavender's my favourite now by a bit of a distance. They're just such good switches. They are just such good switches. Okay, now the vote is done. Thank you very much to everyone who entered. The H1s did win, so we're going to build it with the H1 switches. I'm going to just pop the board just a little bit further to the side so I don't damage it. First things first though, guys, we do need to put the stabilizers in the PCB. And this is what we're going to use today. We're going to use some of the version 2 Duroc Ultramarine stabilizers from Mechanisk. These will be in stock on the Mechanisk website soon. Leandra was kind enough to send me a few bags of these to try out. So these are what we're going to use today. We are building this as 7U and fixed ISO. So yeah, be prepared for that, guys. Be prepared for it. Let's get some tools ready. I got a new batch of lavenders. I have some issues with the first batch. Lots of overbluing. Just started, so I'm still learning. Yeah, lubing is an acquired art. Like, you get used to it eventually, but it can be quite daunting to start off with. Okay, so we're going to do a full backspace on this build, just because this is my preferred TKL layout. We're going to do an ISO enter. We're going to do a full right shift, because why not? And then we're going to do a 7U spacebar because we have the wind keyless F13 version. Okay, where'd I put the bag? There it is. So quite a few stabilizers to lube for this build. Okay. I'm just going to prep the stabilizer housings by putting the inserts inside the housings now. And remember, you want the side of the insert that has 2 holes in it. So if I can show you this on the camera here. There's a side that has 2 holes in it here that you can see there's 2 holes at the front. The rear only has 1 hole. So the side that's got the 2 holes goes to the side where the stabilizer clips in. So the side with the 2 holes, camera please, goes to this side here. It does not go to the side with the screw. Sebastian says a bit of a bend on the spacebar stabilizer wire is a big issue. I bought an OA stab set and not sure how to straighten the wire. Yeah, you want the wires as straight as possible. If the wires aren't straight, then it's going to lead to some inconsistent sounds. I would definitely try and recommend that you straighten that, or try and find another stabilizer wire that is straight. If you're in the UK and it's a 6.25U or 7U, I will more than happily send you a wire for free, man. Just let me know, drop me a message, but only in the UK. I can't be shipping them overseas, unfortunately. But if you're in the UK and you need a wire really desperately, I'm happy to send you a 7U or 6.25U wire. Okay, so we're going to start off with our 2U stabilizers now. We're just going to put some lube on the wire. And basically what we're going to do is we're just going to lube the wire on the part that goes inside the stabilizer housing. And we just want a nice coating all the way around. It's easy to add more lube later on than it is to take it away, so just take it steady. It's always easier to add more later on if you need to than it is to take it away, so don't put too much on. And then once that's nicely lubed, we're going to slide that inside the housing and clip it in place. We're going to rinse and repeat that on the other side of the stabilizer wire. Just want to make sure we get a full nice covering all over the wire, and we're going to clip that into the housing as well. Then once it's clipped into the housing, the next thing we're going to do is just use a little bit of the lube that's left on the brush and just lube the slider rails, the side of the slider, just to make sure there's a thin bit of lube on there. I'm going to do that on both sides of the stabilizer. And the final thing we're going to do is just take a little bit of lube and just push it into the back of the stabilizer where we can see the wires poking through. It doesn't need to be a lot, just a small blob. Make sure it's consistent across all of the switches. And there we go, that's one stabilizer lubed. Now we're going to move on to do the rest. GeonWorks says, hi there Jay, really glad to be able to catch one of your streams. Thank you man, thank you for being here dude. I appreciate you watching. Okay. Jay says, any plans to do another round of the JO2? Yeah, the JO2 Blackout Edition is going to happen pretty soon. We're just waiting on final prototypes for that, and then the JO2 Blackout Edition will go into group buy at some point soon. It's going to be limited to just 200 units, only sold through Prototypist. Ideally fulfilled within 6 months, we'll see. But yeah, we're going to do that. It's going to be all black, but different versions of black in different areas. Let's put it that way. Okay, just going to lube the sides of the sliders again. Tiny bit too much lube on my brush. I'm just going to wipe some of that off. Don't want to put too much on again, guys. You just want to lube the switch nicely. Sorry, lube the stabilizer nicely. If you add too much lube, it's much easier to add more later on than it is to take it away. So try not to add too much. And we're just going to put a small amount of lube in the back of the switch again, the back of the stabilizer again. That's one side, and then we're going to do the second one. Okay, that's the second one lubed. Now we're going to move on to the final 2U stabilizer, and then we're going to do the spacebar after that. Way too much lube on my brush there. I say, always try and not to use too much lube. It's easier to add more later on than it is to take it off, so. Just bear that in mind, guys. There we go. What lube is this? This is 205 grade 2. This is 205 grade 2. That's what I use for all of my stabilizers these days. Hippio, thank you so much for the raid, man. Today we're building a frog TKL. Thank you very much for joining, guys. 69 raiders, thank you very much. What a great number of raiders that is to have. But hello, welcome to the stream. I'm Jay, I run Prototypist Keyboards here in the EU. I also stream on TopClack. And today we're building my personal streamer edition of the F1 Frog TKL from GeonWorks. And you just caught us right at the early part. Hippio says howdy. Hey guys, thank you very much. Thanks guys. And thanks to Hippio as well. Thank you very much guys. Thank you. Thank you so much for the raid, dude. I appreciate you being here. My frog hasn't got here yet. Ah, oh, man, that sucks. That sucks. I hope you get it soon. I was lucky enough to get invited for one of the streamer ones, and I got it about a week ago, but today's the first time I've had a chance to build it. Hippio says howdy. I love how everyone says that. That's awesome. Thank you very much for being here, guys. As I say, we're almost finished lubing our stabilizers. Once we lube the stabilizers, we're then going to put the switches in the board. Chat got to choose the switches earlier on, and they chose H1s lubed with 205 grade 2 as their choice of switch for this particular build today. So I'm excited to get those in the board and try them out. And chat will also get to choose the keycaps that we put on the build at the end as well. We have 6 choices of keycaps, and you guys will get to pick those towards the end of the stream. My streamer one just shipped. Awesome, dude. Awesome, man. I hope you get it soon. Let me know when you're streaming that build, and I'll come and check it out. Capty says prototype is best vendor. Thank you, man. Capty's raiding with a party of 10 as well. Thank you guys for the raid. 2 raids at once. Thank you very much, guys. Prototype is best vendor. I'm not sure about that, but I'll take that. I'll take that. Thank you very much, man. Trade Splatter, thank you so much for the 2 months of sub ban. Thank you very much. Thank you. I really, really appreciate all of the subs and bits and everything else you guys have dropped during the stream. Thank you very much for that. All the follows as well. So many follows, I can't keep up with them, guys. I can't announce them, but thank you very much. Okay, almost finished lubing these stabilizers now. And then once we've done that, we'll start to move on to some switches. We'll get there in just a couple of minutes. Are you a fan of the football? Not really, not really. I'm not a huge football fan at all. In fact, I could probably tell you that I haven't watched a game of football since 1998, which is when I was last forced to watch it by my family. So yeah. Already called that one out, but thank you again, Trade Splatter, for the sub, man. Appreciate that, my dude. You like the 3D printer cams? Thank you, man. Thank you. They're live in the workshop right now. That's live as they're printing. I'm using 205 grade 2 for the stabilizers. Salty Italian guy. I assume you're rooting for Italy in the football. I believe it's 1-0 right now. I have tried to get a ticker up for the game, but I'm not sure I believe it because it says it was 1-0 to England after like a minute, and I'm not sure that that's even possible. So, okay, there we go. That's the stabilizers loop. I'm just going to pop the loop to one side, and it's now time to get those in the board. It's 1-0 to England at halftime. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Thank you so much for being here, guys. I really appreciate it. I'm not supporting either, as I'm half Italian, half English. Well, you're a braver man than I am. Italy bossing possession now. Okay, I don't really follow the football, so I wouldn't actually know. I don't really know what bossing possession means. I assume that means that they have the ball more often than Italy does. Secret says, how is 205 grade 2 versus BDZ for the stamps? BDZ is like 10 times the price, and it's no beneficial difference in my opinion. Like, 205 grade 2 is just as good. Okay, time to pop the stabilizers in the board. We're going to start with the backspace stabilizer. And don't forget, we are building ISO today. This is an ISO layout board. So we're just going to pop the stabilizers into the board first of all. And then once we've got that in, we're then going to screw it in as well. What sport do I follow? Just the F1. F1 is about the only sport I follow. I love the technical detail in the F1, so that's what I follow. Okay, just going to screw the stabilizers in. When you're screwing stabilizers in, guys, don't go too tight with them. You're only trying to just hold the stabilizer in place. You're not trying to crush the PCB. I've had people send me PCBs to fix, and they've absolutely screwed these stabilizers in so tight that it's actually cracked the FR4. So just bear in mind, guys, that when you are screwing a stabilizer in, you're not trying to crush the keyboard. You're just trying to get it to hold the stabilizer in place. So you just want to go until it's finger tight, and then a quarter of a turn more. That's all you need, just a quarter of a turn more. I'm going to pop the ISO stabilizer in now. Goes in there, and that goes in there. This one might need a little bit of persuasion to hold in place, but we'll get it. Are you from the UK, and if so, do you know any keyboard company that ships to the UK other than the KBD and K Republic? I am in the UK, and I ship to the UK. My store, prototypist.net, is Prototypist Keyboards here in the UK. I ship to the UK. Depends on what you need, though. I don't have the same amount of stuff in stock as KBD fans do or KP Republic do. But yeah, we do have a few things. What lube did I use on the switches? 205 grade 2 as well on the switches. Same lube on the switches as is in the stabilizers. The switches weren't lubed by myself, they were lubed by my friend Matt the Pokemon Kid. Sadly, I just don't have time to lube my own switches anymore. Running the store full time, trying to be a retired person, and everything else that goes with that takes away too much of my time, so I don't have time to lube switches unfortunately anymore these days. So I usually send a batch of 1,000 at a time over to my friend Matt. He lubes them for me, and these particular ones that we're using today were chosen by Chet, and we're using H1 switches lubed with 205 grade 2. This is very handy. I want to build an ISO board this month. Oh, I'm glad, dude. I'm glad. ISO is an interesting layout. Like, it's the most common layout here in the UK. So it's what I'm used to growing up, and historically using computers. It's what I've used all my life. So it makes more sense for me to use it. Okay, and then what we need to do is we need to put the 7U stabilizer wire in. So what we're going to do is just make sure we know where that goes. Luckily this PCB doesn't have a holy bottom row, so we can work it out pretty easily. Okay, last 2 screws, and then we're done putting the stabilizers in. Mr. Petrov, I'd like to see you build a board in ISO. Maybe you should rebuild your frog in ISO. What are you 3D printing? I can see it in the right hand corner. Yeah, I'll show you guys. I'm 3D printing 2 things. I'm 3D printing some switch openers. So every time I sell a packet of switches on the website, I give people free lube, free switch opener, free stem holder. So I'm printing some 3D printed switch openers here. On the other 3D printer, I'm actually printing some stem holders. So whilst you're lubing your switch, you can hold onto the stem. You don't have to get your fingers in there, and it will lube them up nicely. Also works for stabilizers if you're into that kind of thing. So there we go. That's what's printing right now. The PCB is so smart. F12 and F13 in the same board. Yeah, I mean, it's just having 2 different F rows in the same footprint, right? It's not terribly difficult to do, but it is pretty cool that it's the same PCB. Yeah. Not a bad idea. Yeah, you need to do it, Mr. Petrov. You need to do it. Oh, you did have to via adjust the PCB? Yeah, I'll probably adjust the PCB later on as well. Okay, that's our stabilizers in place. So you can see we've got all those screwed in nicely. Stabilizers all in place. We're using ISO, so we don't need to do left shift. That is a split key in this particular layout. If it can be fixed in via, I think it's fine, Mr. Petrov. I think that's okay. Okay, next job is to take the plate. And we're just going to drop the plates on, make sure everything aligns nicely with the stabilizers. And we can see that that all does pretty much fit together as it should do. So now the next job is to pop the switches in the board. And then we can go from there and start soldering. These are H1 switches, as I mentioned before, guys. These are lubed by Matt the Pokemon Kid, a friend of mine here in the UK. If you are here in the UK and you do need some switches lubing, I can recommend his service wholeheartedly. It's cheap, efficient, and good quality. So just going to pop some switches in both the corners to start off with. Just make sure that the plate is held nicely around the switches in the correct position, and that the switches are nicely into the PCB. Make sure we've got no bent pins. Okay. We're going to use stepped caps lock because stepped caps lock is only the real answer to this. And we're just going to use one of the fixed positions that we know to make sure we're in the good position. Right. Next job now is to fill the rest of the PCB up with switches, and everything should hold nice and neatly from here. Just going to put a couple in the center just to make sure it's all nice and even held together. Okay. Now we can just go and fill in all the gaps. Will you do the soldering? Yes, I'll be soldering in a few minutes. Actually, the interesting part while we're soldering is you guys can ask me any question. While I'm soldering, it's an open book. You can ask me questions about life, the universe, football, sports, math, science, history, you name it. You can ask me any question you'd like. And as long as it's Twitch safe, I will try and give you the best answer I can. Oh, the luber, will he do soldering? No, he won't solder. Or he might solder for you, actually. He might do the build for you, I don't know. I've never asked him to build a board for me, but I know he has built boards for people in the past. But you can reach him on the UK Discord, just Matt the Pokemon Kid. Will he do desoldering? I don't know. I don't know. You'd have to ask him. I do all my desoldering and soldering in-house. Making sure we've got no bent pins here. A couple bent pins from the factory, so just making sure that they're all rectified before we put the switches in. That one's got a pin that's way too bent, so we're not going to use that one. What do I think of C3 equals stabs? They're pretty good, they're pretty solid. I'll actually be stocking some on the store at some point soon, I think. The spacebar sandwich that comes with the frog, or maybe the streamer version didn't. The spacebar sandwich. What do you mean by that, Mr. Petrov? I'm not sure I've seen that. If it's something that should have come with my frog, I haven't seen it. I'll check through the bits for it though. Mav's checking out the gear. Yeah, Sony A6400s for the face and overhead, and then everything else, as you can see there. The Vesta board's not visible today because this is a office build stream, but when we do streams from the workshop, you'll see the Vesta board, which is a ticker board display that updates for anything major that happens with either Prototypist or the stream. Two little bit of foam wedges between plate and PCB just under the spacebar, like I've been testing with Allison and Jelly Epoch. Yeah, I didn't get that with this. At least I don't think I did. Let's check in the box. Let's check in the box. It certainly wasn't in any of the little packages I opened, so unless I've missed it inside the case, which is quite possible. Doesn't seem to be in that side. It doesn't seem that that was part of the streamer edition, Mr. Petrov. I did not get that piece. I see the F1ATEX has finally left the desk. It's not gone far. The F1ATEX is here, or one of them. It's at the back there, the top board there. But yeah, the Primus has been reigning supreme on my desk for the past couple of days, since last Sunday in fact. You can take it in and out as you like. It's not permanent or needs soldering to remove. Yeah, I don't think I got it, Mr. Petrov. I genuinely don't think it's part of the board that I've been sent. If it has and I've missed it, then I feel bad, but I'm pretty sure it's not been part of the board that I've been sent. Okay, now we are building this board wing keyless. It is a wing keyless board, so we need a 1.5 U key here. We're going to miss a 1 U key, and then we're going to have a 1.5 U key just to the other side. We'll check those are in the right place shortly. I'm pretty sure they are. We do have an F13 version of the board as well. So when it comes to the F row, we'll be filling that out for the F13 version. Pink Goblin says, I'm a head out, but it was fun to meet you, Jay. Have a wonderful day night. Thank you very much for being here, man. I appreciate that. Appreciate your time. Thank you. James is here too. Hey, man. Good to see you, dude. Okay. ISO enter switch is rotated. Interesting. A lot of PCBs lately are not rotating the ISO enter key, but technically for Cherry Spec it should be rotated. So that's interesting that this board does it and a lot of others don't. Okay. Almost there with the switches now, guys. Not too many more to go. To remember where to put these switches correctly. I think that's where they go. We'll check them in a minute. Okay, that's all held in nicely. Now we're just going to do this top row here. So we do have F13 version, so there we go, that's the F13 key there, and then we're going to work backwards from that. It looks like 3 keys in the middle don't change orientation, whether it's F13 or F12, so we can fill those out nicely as well. But effectively we've just got a 0.25U blocker between each one. We'll check it with the case lid before we actually go to solder anything here. Make sure it's all in the right place before we start soldering anything at all. Easy to make mistakes on this, so we'll be careful. See, we've already possibly made a mistake. No, that's right. There we go. Okay, I think we've got this right. Slight bent pin there. Just straighten that up. Okay. Okay, let's see how this looks. But that looks like it's the correct layout. So now we're just going to drop the top case on top, make sure everything aligns correctly. Make sure we've got the F13 in the right place and all the switches on the F row. That's looking pretty good. The only thing that I've done wrong is I just need to move this one switch that way a little bit. Thank you very much for the follows, guys. Apologies if I'm missing them. Switch pull out. There we go. Let's just check this with some keycaps. Make sure it's all correct. But I'm pretty sure it is. We're just going to put some 1.5. Basically, we're just going to check the bottom row, make sure it's all in the correct place. Just some 1.5 U caps. Doesn't matter what keycap they are. All we're doing is checking they're in the right place. 7U spacebar as well. Just make sure it's all correct. Got this switch in the wrong place as well, so I'm just going to adjust this one. There we go. It's always good to just check these out, guys. We're just going to test our stabilizers as well. We're just going to pop a keycap on each one, just make sure they're all okay. Again, doesn't really matter which keycap you're using. It doesn't have to be the right one. It doesn't have to be the correct legend. We're just listing out the tick here, making sure that everything's correct. All looks good. All black is kind of nice. Yeah. Well, we've got two of the tadpole harnesses, so we just need to check and see which one chat recommends we're going to use, Derek. So we're going to try out whichever chat would like when we get to that point. But before we get there, we need to solder the board together. Some switches stuck here. In fact, if we take the case off, it might help a little bit. There we go. Okay, so now we're ready to solder, guys, and that does mean that the stream is basically open season for you guys to ask me any question. Whenever I'm soldering, guys, I will answer any question that you guys ask. It can be about anything at all. It can be keyboard related or otherwise. It can be anything you'd like to ask me about any topic whatsoever, and I will try and answer it as long as it's Twitch safe. As long as I'm not going to break terms of service by answering the question, then you can ask it away. All you need to do is go at JPrototypist in chat, ask me the question, and I'll give you an answer. Okay, so we're just about ready to start soldering. But ask away, you can ask any question you would like. Have we seen the JO1 cases yet? They haven't arrived at the warehouse as yet, but they are on the boat. They're on the way now. They shouldn't be too long before they're here. I've seen pictures. I haven't shared many of them publicly yet. But yeah, they shouldn't be too far away. Just going to check for bent pins now. I've already spotted one. Just going to go through, check each of the switches, just make sure we don't have any bent pins, and where we do, we'll rectify them really quickly. Okay, it's looking good there. So we've got a bent pin on ISO. Just checking all the way through. Just before we start soldering. Okay, so we've got 3 bent pins that we need to fix. So before we start soldering, we're just going to do those really, really quickly. So yeah, so we haven't seen the JO1s just yet, but they shouldn't be too far away. The sad thing is I can't control which ship they get put on. That's the difficult part. Like, they could go on any number of different ships, and depending on which ship they go on, it can take between 2 and 12 weeks to reach here in the UK. So it's really difficult to know when they're going to be here. All I can do is follow the ship day by day and have a rough idea based on that when it's going to arrive. Okay. That one's too bent to use. There we go. Okay, that's all of our bent pins fixed. What do I think about the Norris-Perez penalties? Okay, great question. F1 related, for those of you who don't know. I think they were both racing incidents and shouldn't have occurred. I think by the time they'd made the first decision on the penalty, they couldn't not give a penalty for the second time it happened. But yeah, I don't think either of them should have been penalties. Okay, we're just going to solder a pin in each corner of the board. Or a switch even. Just make sure everything's nice and even. As well as one just in the center. That's just going to make sure that everything stays aligned whilst we go through and solder the rest of the board. I exist, therefore I think, says Jay, how do I cope with a broken heart now that Djokovic has equaled Federer's record of Grand Slams? You celebrate that someone is doing amazingly well in the sport that they're in. That's what you do. You don't get heartbroken. You celebrate the fact that they're there. You celebrate that the fact that the sport is going from strength to strength and that people are getting better and better and better at it. That's what you do. He started hosting you, did Hippo? Yeah, I know. Thank you very much, Kidong. Thank you for being here. You gave a raid earlier on, so thank you very much for that. Sorry to ask, I think the question got lost in chat. Was just wondering, do you know of any local anodizing shops which are local to you? Yes and no. So I do know of a few in the UK, and I've tried a few. I have yet to find one in the UK that is experienced enough with keyboards or cares enough about the product that we use to be able to do a relatively decent job. The anodization shops that are in the UK, they're not designed for decorative purposes. It's more for industrial use cases. So the anodization quality isn't something that we would be classed as being up to par here in the UK for keyboards. I've tried maybe 10 or 12 different places over the years, and that's the experience I've had with most of them. So there is no good place that I've found yet in the UK. If you want to try Cerakote, TAC coatings, TAC coatings, they're really, really good. They do a lot of armed forces gear here in the UK. They're pretty good. They've done a couple of keyboards of mine, have done a pretty good job. Failing that, there are some people like Caustic Customs and some variants of that are here in the UK, people who do similar work to Caustic Customs. You could always try hitting them up as well, but I wouldn't expect it to be cheap per board. I expect it to be quite expensive per board. Okay, so I'm going to go have a nice stream. Thanks very much for being here, man. Thank you very much. Did you watch the Goodwood Festival of Speed these past few days? I did watch a lot on Friday. I had it on pretty much all day on Friday. And Thursday as well, I think. Was it Thursday or was it just Friday? Just Friday, I think. I haven't watched much over the weekend, but I have saved quite a lot of the recordings of it. I have the stream of it as well to watch through. So I'll catch up on some fair bits of it. But yeah, some of the drifting was great. I enjoyed that. Some of the classic cars as well. Always a fan of classic cars. Keep the questions coming though, guys. If you've got any questions at all, it can be about any topic you'd like. Math, science, history, physics, P versus NP. You know, you can ask me anything and I will try and answer you. What I did in life, what I do for money, you know. What my wife thinks of prototypists, what she thinks of keyboards, what she thinks of my car collection. You can ask anything, guys. As long as it's stream safe, I will answer your question and I'll be as open and honest as I can about it. You can ask anything at all. And no holds barred. Dogs or cats? I'm a dog guy. If you watch my Insta stories, you might see Workshop Dog occasionally. She's mine and my wife's pet dog. We've had her for a few years now, but yeah, I'm definitely a dog guy more than a cat guy. I don't dislike cats, just more of a dog guy. Had dogs pretty much all my life. Seeker says P versus MP. Well, P doesn't equal MP, it's P versus MP, right? I still don't think anyone's come up with a solution since last time I looked. And I don't think anyone will find a solution either. I think it's... I think it's... It's going to be an interesting one to see whether anyone solves it. Last time I looked, and I could be wrong because I haven't looked at it for a long time. I don't know why I mentioned it a few minutes ago, but last time I looked, no one had come up with a suitable solution for it. But if someone has, I'd love to read through the thesis and have a look at it and see what I can make of it. It'll probably be far too advanced for me, but I like the idea. What are we doing before I go full-time keyboard community? So interestingly enough, I'm kind of not full-time now in the sense that I don't get paid for this, so I don't get paid for being a vendor. I don't get paid for making customers boards or anything else like that. That money all goes to Prototypist as an entity, and whilst I own the company, I don't take any money out of the company to pay a salary or to pay myself a dividend or to cover my bills or anything else like that. The only money, ironically, I make is from streaming, so the only money that I personally make at all is from whether you guys donate, subscribe, or whatever else here on Twitch. Other than that, I'm technically retired and I work for Prototypist on a volunteer basis officially. I'm a volunteer managing director and owner, but yeah, I don't actually get paid for what I do. Before I worked for Prototypist and before I had the vendorship here, I used to work for a financial institution here in the UK as a large-scale project manager, so senior project manager stroke product owner, where I'd look after multi-million-pound investments into upgrading infrastructure, software, hardware, that kind of stuff. I did that for nearly 16 years. How many people work for Prototypist? Or is it a sole run business? So officially it's just me as volunteer director. We do have a load of partner designers and CAD guys that we outsource to. So James AKB in chat, a lot of our CAD design work is outsourced to him through contract work. But other than that, official employees, just one, me. That might have to change in the near future. Occasionally I have a friend who comes and helps out in the workshop called Mel. She often does a lot of packing for me if we get really busy. Usually around group buy arrival time, so we can pack all the group buy and get it ready to ship. Which lately, that means she's here at least once a week lately. But yeah, officially it's just me. What's the latest video game or board game I played? I haven't played a board game in a long time. The latest video game I played is probably Tetris on my phone, but if you mean like a proper console one, it's probably Destiny 2 on the PS5. I used to play a lot of Destiny up until about 3 years ago, and then I just kind of fell out of it and didn't have the time to play anymore, but I do really miss it. I kind of miss doing all the raiding, the camaraderie of doing all of those kind of endgame activities and nightfalls and everything else, but I feel like I've been away that long at this point that I just won't get back into it. So whilst I dabble occasionally for 20 minutes, half an hour, and just have a game of Crucible or something, I do feel like I've lost a lot of the knowledge I used to have about the game, and that kind of saddens me. I'd kind of like to get back into it. The struggle is just finding the time. How are your car projects going? Pretty well, yeah. The little blue truck is pretty much ready for going on the road. She just needs some replacement headlights, which are on the way from Thailand right now. She's actually in the warehouse next door to mine because they're auto electricians. They're picking that piece of work up for me. So as soon as they're here, it'll go in for its UK MOT test, which will prove that it's safe to be on the roads. And once that's done, I'll get it all fully registered and that'll be on the road. The green pickup truck is actually ready for sale at the minute. It's not quite yet up for sale, but it's going to be up for sale soon. So the green pickup truck's going to go as soon as the blue one is on the road and all legal and official. So that's not too far away. The orange Datsun, not really a project anymore. That's kind of finished. The 240Z, that's finished and that's tucked away in my garage. It'll come out when it's nice weather. The black Nissan P130, the early Cedric, 1965 Cedric, that's on a boat at the minute on its way over from Malaysia to the UK. That should arrive in late August, about 6 weeks time. The Peugeot 306 track car is about to start moving. That's actually going to go down to my mechanic's friend for just a check out, make sure that the chassis is solid, doesn't need any welding, all of that kind of stuff before we start to strip it out and put a roll cage in it, upgrade the brakes and do a few other bits. The wife's Mazda needs CarPlay fitting into it, so it's a Mazda CX-5. It's a couple of years old, but we can fit CarPlay into it now because I've nicked all of the stuff for that from the dealership for the new ones. So we're going to need to do that. And then the Tesla, that's going to arrive hopefully soon. I'm hoping the Tesla's going to arrive in the first week in September. Just a Model 3, but that's going to be the company car. I think that's all of them. I think I might have missed one or two, but I think that's all of them. Do you do build commissions? Yes, I do, Secree. I do build commissions. It's not advertised formally on the site, but if you send me a board, I will build it. The cost is £35 plus return postage. I don't loop switches, unfortunately, anymore. I just don't have time to do that, but I will do the build for you, either on stream or off stream. Price is the same. It's just going to take me longer to get around to it if you want it on stream because the queue's so big. But yeah, I build at least 2 or 3 boards every day. What filament am I using? If you mean soldering, if you mean the solder wire, this is Castor 6040 with a roasting core, and it's 0.7 millimeters thick. Panther says, hey Jay, I'm sorry to ask this, but what Amazon board would you recommend? Preferably linear. I'm thinking of getting one for Christmas and putting on Japanese keycaps on it. I'm just not sure as I'm new to mechs. PS, I'm not trying to be annoying, just very interested in the topic. Sorry if you've posted that before and I missed it, I do apologise. It's really difficult for me to pick an Amazon level board because I haven't really used any of them. What I would say is in the budget market, I really enjoy using Leopold boards. So I'd definitely take a look at some of the Leopold boards. And if you can find one of the ones with double shot PBT keycaps on, they're actually kind of unique in the community. Most keycaps that are PBT and double shot actually aren't 2 shots of PBT. It's usually a PBT base keycap with a POM shot on the inside for the legend. Leopold caps are actually different. They're actually true double shot PBT caps. So yeah, I would definitely try a Leopold if you're looking for a budget board. That's my favorite place to look. But I don't really know much about the budget board range, to be honest, lately. It's not my forte. It's not kind of the products that I sell. But if you ask around in the Discords, I'm sure that people will help. You can join the Prototypist Discord using the link below, and I'm sure people in there would love to be able to help you. I hope that helps. Feel you on that. Thanks for the answer. No worries, Charlie. Nelly says, when do I take delivery of the new cat? I think I might have covered that before. If I didn't, let me know. I'll come back to it. But if you mean the Tesla, I think it's going to be September. We shall see. We shall see. Which sounds like a long time away, but it's really not. It's only 8 weeks away. What do you think of the Keychron Q1? I think it looks okay. I haven't really looked at it in any great detail other than a passing interest. Again, it's not the kind of board that usually piques my interest, but I think it looks fine. I think people who buy it will be very happy with it, but it's not something that I'd be interested in buying myself. I do not have a lot of money. That's not true. 1-1 Italy equalized. So do you have? Yeah, it says so at the top of my screen. Yep. 3D printing filament. Oh, the filament. I've got a Prusa i3 Mark III's that I'm trying to troubleshoot a bit. So I have 2 Prusa Mark III's, and they're both using Prusament filament at the minute. I don't really use anything other than Prusament because it's just so good. But those machines, they just run and run and run. I have them on 24/7, and rarely do I have a problem. If you watch my Insta stories, you'll see that they're pretty much on all the time. They run every single day of the week, and at most if filament runs out when I'm not here, I have a cold pull that I need to do, and that's about it. But very little in terms of maintenance. Okay, we're almost finished soldering now. We've got another bent pin that we just need to go back and fix. But other than that, we've just got the rest of this bottom row to solder, and then we're there. If you've got any final questions, guys, now's the time to get them in. Anything is available as a question. You can ask anything at all. Complete open book. Okay, I'm just going to resolder that switch there. Okay, let's fix the bent pin. Where did I get the desk mat? The desk mat's from Alpha Keycaps. And this is it's based on all of the artisans that he produces, Salvadors and Kipuras. It's a really solid desk mat design. I love it. Wait, did we bend another pin then? We bent another pin as I put this in, it bent again. Come on. Okay, this one doesn't want to come out. There we go. Right, third time lucky. What's causing this to bend? There we go, that's gone in now. Right, okay, last switch to solder. I think we covered the desk about Meester. Thank you very much for that, though. My neighbour is Italian confirmed. You just heard him shout yes. Okay, I get you. Simba says, Prusament is paying the ass to get like £20 in shipping for a roll of filament. Might not be too bad buying, but I buy 20 or 30 rolls at a time. Like, my printers do not stop running. Like, they're constantly running. 20 or 30 rolls is probably my average order size for Prusament. So yeah, I have a lot of it, and I get through a lot of it as well. Okay, there we go. That should be us finished soldering. Time to test the keyboard, and then if that's all good, we can put the soldering iron away. You be scared of snapping pins? Nah. Yeah, the desk through alpha keycaps. Okay, so let's test this out. Let's get switch hitter up, and we'll test this out. Make sure everything works. Okay, so we've got a TKL ISO layout, so let's set up for that. You guys should be able to see that. Let's plug this in and make sure everything works. I forgot the cable doesn't stretch that far. Let it set that up. Okay, let's test the keyboard. Did we miss one here? Okay, the F1 key is working. You can see it's going there, but it's all offset one. But we'll fix that later on. Means the key's working. We can test that the matrix is working because we get a response. Okay, all working there. All looking good. Enter is working, but it's coming up as the wrong switch. That's coming up as enter, so they just need flipping round in the software. All that row is looking good. Shift row is all looking good as well. So just a couple of tweaks. Our shift's not working here. Just check that we've soldered that. No, we didn't solder it, so that's why it doesn't work, because we didn't solder it. Let's quickly rectify that. You had one cold joint on a diode. Doesn't seem to have that issue here. It's just me not soldering a switch. Wait, where's the end of this? There it is. I don't know how I missed it, but I did miss it. So we'll just fix that really quickly now. There we go. Okay. I'm going to assume and trust my soldering that works. I'm not going to test it. But there we go. That's the board and the PCB all soldered together and ready to go and tested working. So the next job now is to put it into the top case. So we know that this all lines up because we've already tested that. It's all looking good. But the next job is to decide how we're going to put this together. Now this is held in place by the use of these little tadpoles, and we need to decide which weighting of the tadpoles we're going to use, because I do have two weightings. I have these ones here, if they'll all come out of the packet. Come on. There is another one in here, it just doesn't want to come out. There we go. So we do have these ones, which are a light blue colour, but we also have some other ones which are a green colour. Which colour's which, Mr. Petrov? Do you know, without me looking it up? Do you know which colour's the softest ones? So you can see we've got two different colours. gonna see if I can work out which ones are soft ones just by feel. Oh, okay, like, yeah, the light blue one is really soft. Like, that's obviously soft. Okay, so we're gonna have another poll, guys. You guys are gonna determine which one we're gonna use. Are we gonna use the soft tadpoles or the hard tadpoles? I'm gonna start that poll now. You just need to tell me which tadpoles you'd like to see me use. Would you like me to see me use the really soft tadpoles, which are going to give a softer, more bouncy typing experience? Or would you like to see me use the firmer tadpoles, which are going to have a harsher and more firm typing feel? Feel free to vote, guys. The vote is running, and we'll see what you guys come up with. I do have 2 sets of the stronger, stiffer tadpoles. That's interesting. You can feel them. Yeah, as soon as I picked them up, I knew. Yeah, I could tell. What switches are we using? We're using H1 switches. These are Luba 205 grade 2, and they're completely stock other than that. There's no spring changes. There is no filming or anything else. They're completely stock H1 switches with 205 grade 2 loop. Yeah, well, you guys get to pick. Whatever you guys pick in chat, that's how we build this. You guys get to pick the build for me. Everyone is saying soft so far. 15 out of you are saying soft, but there's like 75 people watching, so I'm sure you guys can come up with more votes than that. Like, come on, guys. Does no one want to see me build it with hard tadpoles? No one wants to see that? Everyone wants to see it with the soft tadpoles? Interesting. I'm actually going to zoom the camera in for this next bit as well. Just so I can show you guys how these tadpoles work. Not a fan of hard poles in the stream? Apparently not, no. Everyone liking the soft tadpoles. If anyone makes it so that the hard tadpoles win, I'll send them a prize. Maybe we should do something different. What about soft tadpoles and hard tadpoles on different sides of the board? So like if we used hard tadpoles at the top and soft tadpoles at the bottom, how do you feel about that? If it's a draw, that's what we'll do. If it manages to miraculously get to a draw between soft and hard tadpoles, we'll put hard tadpoles all across the top row where the USB port is, and we'll put soft tadpoles all across the bottom. Alternate soft and hard. Yeah, I think my flipping both sides is probably better than the alternating it. Hard on the outside and soft on the inside? Apparently, yeah. Apparently that's another way of doing it. If it gets to 50-50, which it is not looking like it's going to do, I will put the hard ones across the F row and the soft tadpoles across the spacebar row. That's what we'll do. That's how we'll build it. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. These are the tadpoles just here. We've got the harder ones just there. Momentum is shifting. Oh my gosh, it is as well, yeah. Momentum is shifting. 11 votes now. 11 votes now. Still 1-1 England, Italy. Dual layer, let's go. You like the hard versus the soft, Mr. Petrov? Is that what you like? Momentum. It's almost there. It's almost there. 19 soft, 12 hard. The contrast of a soft and a hard pole is one of life's little pleasures. I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is. I'll take your word for it. I like the hards and the softs. They look nice. Yeah, like the colours are great. The colours are super cute. Needs more RGB? No, nothing needs RGB in this hobby. At least not in my opinion. More RGB for extra frames. There should be enough frames per second. I think we're streaming at 30 frames a second. That's plenty for a build stream. I don't know what the tadpoles do. Oh, sorry. So I didn't explain. So the tadpoles hold the PCB and the board together. So instead of screwing the plate and the PCB into the case, the tadpoles hold it in place. So these holes here, the tadpole is going to go through there and it's going to hold it in place into this. So the tadpoles basically hold all of the plate and the PCB assembly together instead of screwing it in. Instead of putting screws in here, we put the tadpoles in and the tadpoles hold it in place. So there you go. That's what the tadpoles are for. Sorry, I should have explained that. They're not really gaskets. I don't like to think of them as gaskets, but I guess maybe they're more of a soft rubber positioning piece. I guess I don't know. Maybe I do class them as gasket. I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel about calling them a gasket. It's not a screw with an O-ring. It replaces the screw. It's not a screw at all. It replaces all of that. So it's just a rubber bung basically. Yeah, it's closer to Bergamot, I guess. Yeah. Okay, so it's just about to finish, guys. 59% of you did pick the soft gaskets, so we are going to use those. So sorry, the soft tadpoles. So we are going to use those. And basically, all we're going to do is just going to push these into place. So we're just going to pop them in place. I'm just going to push them until they're flush with the plate assembly, and that's all nicely held in place. We're just going to repeat that wherever one of these tadpoles can go. I'm just going to push them in. They're a good solution. I do like these. I remember talking with, and it might have even been Pona, about something like this about 4 or 5 years ago. It might have been Pona, I can't remember. And we always thought it would be impossible to get it to work correctly. Little did we know that good old Geon was capable of making this. Less tadpoles could result in more flex, but it'd probably also increase inconsistency across the keys. More flex isn't always a good thing, in my view. Sometimes less flex is better, but it really depends on the board. There are some boards out there that are just too flexy. IDB60, I'm looking at you. Fewer, yeah. 15 items or fewer. Yeah, you're right, Mr. Petrov, you're right. Most cheap boards use screws, yeah. But there's nothing wrong with a standard top mount board. Okay, so we're almost there. We've almost pushed all of these in. Okay, last one. And then we're ready to put the case together. Okay, let's put the tadpoles away. See if you're right, Mr. Petrov. I may end up switching to the firmer ones later on, just for preference point of view. I tend to prefer a firmer build than a softer one, but we'll see. There we go. Okay, so now it's time to pop the rest of the case together. So we're just going to take the case and we're going to pop that on top. We're going to try and align that as best we can. Just like so. We're going to get our trusty screwdriver and then we're going to screw this together. Now we're going to go diametrically opposed for the screws, just to make sure we're evening out the tension across the board. Don't want to end up stripping a screw later on. There we go. Okay, we're missing a screw. Are we missing a screw? Perhaps it's moved under the other keyboard. There it is. Okay. It's just scored. Nice. Okay. I really don't care. Like I don't care if it's whatever it is. The scoreboard hasn't updated at the top, so I don't know if that's you just catching up or not. Okay, so now we're going to install the feet. I believe that these are universal either way. I am going to use the black ones. I'm not going to give chat a chance to pick on these. I'm just going to use the black ones. Cam zoom? Yeah, the cam zoomed in, yeah. Am I putting this in wrong? It's going to go one way. Oh, that must be for the top. That's why. They only go on one side. Nice. I see. I see. There we go. I thought they would have been universal. You'd been able to use either on the top or either on the bottom, but apparently not. There we go. That's better. I do like these feet. These are a really good solution. Yeah, I've seen feet like these before, but these particular ones are a really good solution. Rum has been doing some similar kind of thing in terms of shape and style for a little while. Okay, let's zoom the camera out a little bit. There we go. So that's the board all built. Now it's time to choose some keycaps, guys, which means that you guys get back involved and you get to pick from a list of keycaps. Whew. So let's crack on with getting a new poll together for those list of keycaps. And I'll show you what keycaps we've got in a second, but we have got GMK Red Samurai. We've got GMK Sky Dolch. We've got GMK Oblivion Round 1. We've got GMK Muted. We've got GMK Future Funk. Is he going to let me put another one in? Or is that it? Am I limited to just those? I'm only limited to 5. Okay, so the last one was GMK Merlin, but you can't pick that. So let's get that going and I'll show you the keycaps whilst the poll's running. So first up we have GMK Red Alert. Sorry, not Red Alert, Red Samurai. These are black, gold, and red based keycaps. Lots of different colours in there. We also have a GMK Sky Dolch. This is classical Dolch with a teal accent, which goes pretty much everything. We have got GMK Oblivion Round 1. This has got the white alphas, the Hagoramo alphas. This is GMK Oblivion Round 1. GMK Oblivion is now in group buy as well, and you can buy it through Prototypist as well if you're interested. Round 3. We've got GMK Muted. So this has got, I think I've got both coloured accents in here, I think. Maybe? I'm not sure. But yeah, this is GMK Muted with accents if needed. And we've got GMK Future Funk as well, which is kind of light blue, dark purplish blues and loads of different colours. I do also have some child kits for the Future Funk as well. I have the light alphas and the icon mods as well. So if we do pick that, we've got some more granular choices. So there we go. That's the sets of keycaps that we have today. Oblivion might be the first keycap set I pre-order ever. Well, it's available on Prototypist right now. Get it while you can. Ordered the Cat Great Waves from Prototypist. Can't wait for them. Me too. I think that's doing well. Group buy is doing really well. I think it's going to do superbly well when people actually see it in real life. I think it's going to go nuts in the aftermarket. I've got the Round 1 Red Sam with UK ISO. Yeah, it's Round 1. I haven't got the latest versions. It's Round 1 of Red Samurai. Yeah. GMK Nut. I have a lot of GMK sets in my personal collection. I think something like 200 or so GMK sets, something like that. I didn't show any SA caps. No, if you check on the poll at the top, you can see which ones you want to vote for. So Oblivion is winning at the minute, but I do have plenty of SA keycaps. You just picked up GMK Pacific and GMK Shashin. Nice, nice, Sebastian, nice. In fact, my key cult number 2 in UK ISO just here, that is with SA. That's the Phantom Edition key cult. Oh, lift it up, I'll show you guys. This is the Phantom Edition key cult with SA Phantom on it as well. It's a solid brass base. Key cult number 2. As far as I know, it's the only one built in ISO. As far as I know. Step caps and ISO enter. It's the only way to do it. It's the only way to do it. Okay, Future Funk is catching up. I'm not sure how Future Funk's going to look on a black keyboard, you know, guys. I'm not sure how Future Funk's going to look, but we'll see if it wins or not. We'll see if it wins. It's winning by 1 vote right now. Oblivion, it's basically Oblivion and Future Funk. No one wants to see Muted. No one wants to see Skydolch. No one wants to see Red Samurai. It's just Oblivion and Future Funk. Wow. I see how it is, guys. I picked up EPBT Origami through Prototypist. Can't wait for this set. Yeah, EPBT Origami is going to be quite quick, I think, as well. I don't think it's going to take too long to arrive. It's certainly not going to take as long as some of the GMK queues are, which are unfortunate. You voted Muted. Muted would have been my personal choice, right? If I was picking for this board, I was going to pick Muted, but I like to let you guys pick. So you guys are picking, well, Future Funk or Oblivion right now. That's what you guys are picking. So yeah, but if it was up to me, I would have picked Muted, right? That's what I would have picked. You voted for Muted as well? Yeah, there's only 2 votes for Muted, 2 votes for Skydolch, and 2 votes for Red Sam. Everyone else has gone for Oblivion or Future Funk. Yeah, Redacted hasn't come out yet, though. I don't think that's been shipped yet. I didn't buy it either, I'm afraid. So, or did I? I don't think I bought it. I like Skydolch a lot. Skydolch is one of my favourite sets of all time. It's such a good set. It's like top 10 sets. But we'll see. We'll see. Looks like Oblivion's just pipped to lead. Oh no, there it goes. It's back to level pegging. Level pegging, 27 votes each. 28 votes to Future Funk. About a minute left, guys. If I have Handabyte, yeah, I have GMK Handabyte. I don't have it on this board though, but I do have GMK Handabyte. Maybe 30 seconds left. See what can pip it. Future Funk's pipping it at the minute. Oh, now Oblivion's in the lead. Oh my gosh. Now Future Funk's in the lead. This is like a 2-horse race. Future Funk has won with 33 votes to 31, 47% to 44%. Wow, that was close. That was flipping and flopping right between the last 2. Wow. Wow. Okay, so now the next poll is for Future Funk. Which alphas do you want to see? Do you want to see the light alphas or the dark alphas? Let's set this poll up for a little bit of a short time. Let's set this one up for 2 minutes. Okay, guys. Now you just need to vote. Now you've picked Future Funk, you need to pick and decide whether you want to see the light alphas or the dark alphas. But there you go. You can vote. Oblivion didn't quite win. Oblivion lost, unfortunately. Muted would have been my choice, though. Muted would always have been my choice for this. James says, Skydolch was a set that caught my eye and introduced me to custom keyboards. Yeah, the first that I ever had, I actually sold to a friend of mine called Will, and he put it on a Duck Viper. No, not a Duck Viper, it was a TKL. What was it? It was a TKL, and he'd had it wrapped in wood, and then that was the first regret I ever had, was selling a Keycaps set at that point. I wanted that set back because he'd hydro dipped this board in wood effect, and it looked stunning, and I wanted it back ever from that moment onwards. Can you show you the alphas real quick? Yeah, so the white alphas are here. These are the light alphas. You got a choice of the light alphas, or the dark alphas, I believe, are in here. So there you go. Those are the 2 choices. Mods are going to be the purplish blue color, and then you've got the light alphas that match, or the dark alphas. Oh, that was the same image, right? Okay, that was originally my keycap set. Yeah, I sold it to Will, and then he did that board, and then I wanted it back, and then I bought it back. I bought a different set back, not my set, but yeah, the print that was given away, the picture of the 2018 Birmingham. Yes, it was. Yeah, it's a long time ago. Okay, light alpha's winning. This is going to be an interesting build. I'm not sure how this is going to look with the black board. I'm really not. But I'll trust you guys. Wait, why is that wobbling? Oh, the foot's come out. There we go. That's better. Time to return it. I'm not returning it. I'm not returning this. I'm a big fan of GeonWorks boards, so... Savage Astronaut, thank you very much for the follow, man. I appreciate you being here. Oh my god, light alphas and dark alphas. It's ended 50-50. It's ended 50-50. Wow. Storsner's contributed 3,000 channel points to get it there. I see you, Storsners. I see you. Time to split them? Like, should we alternate rows? It's going to look horrific. Should we alternate rows, or should we just do it half down the middle, half light? Let's get the mods on. Let's get the mods on, and we'll decide as we go, right? I'm really not sure how this is going to look. Okay, let's get the mods in place first, and then we'll decide where we're going. Okay. I'm not going to use any accents on this because I'm not really sure where we're going with the mod colors as it is. Is that the right shift? No. Whoops. That's 1.75 view. Don't need that. Surely I have the deciding vote. I don't like to take that away from chat. I'm not going to use these light blue space bars or the white ones. I know that for a fact. We're going to go for the mod color space bars, whatever we do. Don't need another super key. Don't need that. Don't need that. Really not sure what else we need. I haven't decided in the alphas yet. I'm just trying to find the mod keys here. Don't need that. We do need that shift key. We do need stepped caps, so we're going to put that in place. Don't need numpad enter. Or maybe we will put the yellow enter on. We'll keep that to one side. We don't need that. Don't need that. Don't need that. Haven't decided on alphas yet. Don't need that. We do need the tab key. We do need a control key. We do need the other control key there. Now the short left shift. Okay, we'll go for the hot pink escape because why not? Okay, so then we need the rest of the TKL cluster just to go up here, and the F row keys as well. So let's put the F row keys in. That's a mod key, so it could be there. Oh, the white alpha from that ended up in here. Don't know why. I'm really tempted to go with the media keys for the top row here. I'm really tempted to do that. I don't usually, but it feels like it's something that might be worthwhile on this particular board. So let's just put all of the keys that might need to go up there to one side. Okay. There is quite a few media keys, but I'm really tempted to use those. We'll see what we've got. Let's lay it out and we'll see what we've got, because I'm not really sure what this set covers and what it doesn't cover. Okay, I don't think we're going to need those. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, I'm not sure on the alphas yet. This is making it really difficult because I have no idea what we're doing with the alphas yet. The bullshit key. Whoop. The BS key. It's BS. It's a good key. Backspace looks a little crooked. Maybe. Let's have a look. Switch is definitely soldered straight. So it could be the key. Or it could be the stabilizer. He says, just checking the switch is straight. There we go. Looks a bit straighter. There we go. Slightly off still. I think it's actually the stem on the switch that's twisted when I was looking at it. We'll see. I wish the purple was more purple. It's a lovely mix of Phantom and Dracula. Juice planning still around 300 each month for a couple of years. Next release will probably be without PCBs due to shortage of MCUs. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. I want to get a green one. We love ISO. Thank you, Tyson. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Oh man, I'm really not sure what to do with the keys over on this side. Like, 2 tab keys, that's always a good thing. Let's get these function keys done. I think we're going to go dark arrows anyway. Whatever we do, we're going to have the dark arrows. So let's get the arrows in as well. Let's get the function row and the arrows in. And then we can decide on alphas. That feeling when you don't really know what layout the keyboard offers. The key set offers even. Okay, just don't know what we're going to need because we haven't decided on the alpha situation yet. This makes it very difficult, guys. Okay. We are definitely going to use that BS key, and we're going to put the BS key on 13. That's definitely where that's going to go. I know it's supposed to stand for backspace, but I like to think it stands for bullshit. Okay, we're missing F8. Where's F8? It's fate that I can't find my F8. Typical. Where is it? I know you guys can't see these very well. There it is. Okay, so there we go. That's that done. Let's have a look over here and see if we can work out what we're going to do for the media keys and what the coverage is here. Let me get up GMK Future from kitting. Let's see what it covers. Okay, so those keys weren't in the base kit. What kit were they in? Oh, it's in the icon kit. I see. Okay. I think that's what we're going to go with. We're going to go with the icon kit for just for this area here because I think it looks cool. Wait. Help if I get them in the right order. Got to use the dark alphas. I think we're going to use the light ones. I'm going to use the light ones. That's my current plan, is to use the light ones. Unless anyone has a really good reason in chat why I shouldn't use the light ones, I'm going to use the light ones. Okay, that's what I'm going to go with up there. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to put the rest of that cluster together as it should be. So we're going to go home and delete. There we go. Page up and home is what we need next. Wait, where's the pink page up? There must be a pink page up. Pink home's there. Looking for a page up now here. Oh man. The pink's so light that it's really difficult to see it. Typical, I can't see it. Have I got it here already? Oh, we do already have it here. There we go. And then we've got page down and page... Wait, what? Wait, what? In fact, I don't even know why I'm using those here. That's not even what I should be using. Right, okay, we can't use those ones. Right, okay. Look at the diagram properly, Jay. Look at the diagram properly. Insert and home, that's what we need. We're not going to use home, we're going to use print screen there. There we go. We're going to slightly modify this, and then we've got delete and end. Right, okay. Let's get delete and end in. Do we have the delete and the end key? No. So it must be here. There's end. Let's get the delete key. I know we're kind of going off piste here, guys, with it. It's a little bit different to usual, but that's fine. Right, now we need the up and the down arrows. They should be relatively easy to find. There's one, and there's the other. Okay, job done. Right, time for the light alphas. I'm gonna run this past you guys, but unless someone has a really good idea as to why I shouldn't be using the light alphas, tell me now. I am using H1s. Yeah, if you use the build command, it will tell you exactly what we're doing. But it's H1 switches. Got to use dark alphas. We're going with the light alphas. We're going with the light alphas. Because I say so. Light alphas or riot. Thanks, Will. Thank you very much for the gift package as well. For those that you don't know, Will actually was really kind. He sent me a gift package through the post with loads of painting materials in there. So he sent me rollers and paint tubs and trays and all sorts of stuff. It was really cool of him. So thank you very much for that, dude. The painting is yet to happen. The painting is going to happen hopefully one day this week if I find an afternoon spare. I'm just going to paint the whole room. Yeah, the office is looking good. A few more changes to do. Some artwork to go on the wall behind me. There's a light going to go in this corner. There's a sign going to go up on the wall over there. Quite a few bits to do. Numbers as light, Latins as dark. Wait, what? Do you really want to see that? Do you want to see that? Do you want to see the light numero and then everything else dark? We can do that. I think that's a fair compromise. I do think that's a fair compromise. If we do that though, we're going to do the arrows as light as well. I'm pretty sure there's white and black arrows. Yeah, let's dig out the arrows. And then let's do exactly that. Let's do the numero in the white. This is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. That's going to go there. This is going to look either really good or really crap. And I really don't know how it's going to go. Okay. I don't know how I feel about this already. But hey, we said we're going to do it, so let's do it. Let's get that number in place, and then we'll go back to the Dark Alphas. Just need the other arrow key as well. There it is. It's going to look a bit of a mess as this, but I think we'll go with it. I think we'll go with it. It's crazy enough that I want to do it. Okay, let's see if we can find the rest of this number. So we're missing 8. There's 8. Where's the 3? There's the 3. Okay. I feel like this is a terrible idea, but I kind of like it at the same time. What a Chad move. Attention to detail, I see. I'm not sure if it's attention to detail or making memes. Either one's valid though, right? Both are valid ways of doing things. ISO left shift is so small. Yeah, but it gives you an extra key, right? That's the trick. It gives you an extra key. So therefore you'd be better at gaming with it because you've got an extra key in this area. Right, let's put those to one side because we're not using those anymore. Let's get the yeah, I don't believe it's got UK ISO. I think that's the issue here. I don't believe we've got UK ISO. Wait, do the Dark Alphas even support ISO? Oh yeah, they've got the silly dual slash key. Yeah, okay. Okay. Not ideal, but hey, it is what it is. Right, okay. So, wait, we're dropping keycaps. It's all we need as well. This is going to look either really cool or really crap. There. Extra key kills better gaming, right? No, it needs a white space bar. I'm not putting the white space bar on now. We're going to put the white arrow keys on instead. This is going to look a state, isn't it? Make sure it's in the right place. Hope we've put these in the right place. There we go. gonna look for the Bard FMJ keys. I'm really not sure how I feel about this now. Whose idea was this? Whose idea was this? Who do I need to ban that came up with this idea? Seriously, someone tell me who I need to ban for this idea. Okay, we're almost there then. Getting there slowly. Very few keys left now. I got those two the wrong way around. They're the same key. This is the ISO implementation I like the least. The same key in both places just doesn't work for me. But it is what it is. Okay, just two keys left now. Let's see this very quickly. Come on, there's one more key. Where is it? I think we get all of the keys. Just one more key. There it is. There we go, guys. That is the board built. Hey man, I have like 6 F1ATXs, maybe 7, I can't remember. I love Geon's boards. He's a good designer. Right. Okay, so let's change this up slightly. Let's go for the yellow ISO enter, which I never thought I'd say, but let's do that. Whoops. Curse. Look at the bright side. Keycaps are not sold. Yeah, to be honest, let's be honest, guys. This is going to get changed to muted pretty much straight after the stream anyway. Like, that's what I planned to put on this board. I was just letting you guys pick for the stream. So it's going to get changed to muted straight away. So we can have a bit of fun with this. We can have a bit of fun with it. Okay, there we go. Almost there. Not quite done. Just got these arrow keys to sort out. Whew. Okay, guys, there we go. Here is the GeonWorks Frog TKL with GMK Future Funk with light numero F13 layout with the BS key on there. Yellow ISO enter. I'm going to change it over from muted, I think. Like, how about we admit we were wrong and put muted on it? Yeah, like, we could do 9009, but I'd have to go and get it out of the warehouse. Let's just pretend this never happened, and let's just go back to muted, right? Let's just go back to Old Faithful and make a board that actually looks good. Like, I just feel like this is too much. This is too much of a meme even for me. I can't use this. I can't use this. Whose idea? Who do I need to ban? Who came up with the idea of using the white numero with the dark alphas? Whose idea was that? Whose idea was it? Come on, whoever it was, own up. I want to see in chat. You own up. We're sorry, Jay. yeah, it's fun to let chat choose these things, but hey, Time to delete the hobby, right? Like, this just wasn't it, guys. Like, usually I trust the consensus. This time it wasn't it. And you guys wonder why I don't want to try the tape method? The tape mod? Well, here's the prime reason why not. I volunteered to be banished as tribute. Trolling Cootie said it was him. Bad idea, I agree. Thank you very much for being here, guys. Appreciate it. Okay. We're just gonna pretend that didn't happen, and we're just gonna go for muted. We're gonna make it all alright, guys. Don't worry, we're gonna make it all right. We're just gonna fix this nice and easily with just some simple bit of muted. Muted is love, muted is life. It's gonna make it all alright, guys. I think it could look right with the correct keycap set Simba. I think if you did like, if we'd have done that numero in black on white, and then the rest of the caps in white on black, it might have looked okay, or vice versa would have definitely looked okay. But it doesn't quite work with the blue key set, and I think the fact that it's a blue key set on a black board doesn't help. Like, blue on black doesn't really go in my eyes. Whoops. Future Funk is dark enough for it to look okay, but I don't think it does. I think it looks a bit weird on black. I just think it's not quite dark enough. I think it's too blue. Or it's not purpley enough. Like, it's too blue and it's not purplish enough. And that's my take on it anyway. Dark Oblivion would be the best one for me in this case. Maybe, but I only have the light alphas here today. But we're going to fix it with muted anyway. Muted is going to fix this board right up. You'll see, guys. You'll see. And I did say earlier on, I was always planning on putting muted on there. I was a little bit disappointed when chat voted against it. But you were so adamant, guys, that you wanted to see this. This was like what everyone picked. Like, the vote was so much in favor of this keycap set compared to muted. There we go. We just need to pretend now, guys, that we never tried that. That wasn't something that we ever did on stream, and it never happened. Oops. Let's take the lid off. There we go. Okay, so guys, thank you very much for picking muted for the board. Good choice by everyone in chat there. Let's see how this looks. I think this is going to look pretty good. We'll leave the accents to the end. You guys can pick some of the accents or not. You can decide right at the very end whether you want to see some accents or not. So I'm just going to put these to one side, and then you can pick at the end by putting this together whether you want to see those. Okay, wrong shift. We'll leave the white space bars out as well because you guys might pick the pink ones. We'll see. We'll see. Anyway, let's carry on with this, guys. Okay. Wait, what? Why have I put that there? Also shift. Put our arrow keys in. Upside down space bar. No, 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 no. I don't like flip space. What's printing, Jay? We're printing stem holders and keycap openers. Key switch openers, even. Key switch openers is what we're picking. Is what we're doing today. There. Okay. Just making our way through it slowly, guys. We'll get there not too long, don't worry. There's a stepped caps lock that we all love. Oh, we have. I didn't realise I had the mod kit that gives me the grey F-row. I didn't realise I had that, but apparently I do. Today we learn. Okay, slowly getting there, guys. I'll leave escape off actually, because you guys might pick to have the accent escape there. Oh, let's see, row 3 cap. There we go. Okay. Slowly getting there, guys. Sorry about the time it's taking me to do this. But I do think this looks better already. I'm going to use F12 twice, just because I'm going to have that key up there in grey, unless I find something better for it. I didn't realise I had this whole grey mod kit though. In fact, actually, do you know what? We're going to change that, I think. We're going to leave that to one side. We'll decide on that in a second. Okay, so apparently we are missing a couple of keys. Let's see if we put these back in here by mistake. I don't think I would have done that, but you never know. You never know. Right, let's put the pipe key. I don't know. I don't really know what to put up there. Let's decide in a second. But we seem to be missing the 8 key. And the end key. So we seem to be missing both the 8 and the end. So let's see if we can find those. Well, there's the 8 key. I put that away by mistake. Let's see if we can find the end key now. There it is. Okay. Okay, there we go, guys. That's most of the keycaps done. This is not CRP, no. This is GMK muted. So they're saying, hey Jay, how's the frog build going? But build's gone well. We're just in the process of putting keycaps on for the second time. And now it's chat's turn to choose. Do you want to see accents or not? So, guys in chat, I just want a yes or a no, depending on whether. All you need to do is type a Y or an N into chat for each option I give you, and you guys can tell me what you think. So, guys, yes or no, accent enter. Yes or no for accent enter. Do you want to see the accent enter? Yes. N for the grey enter. Which do you want to see? Accent enter is yes. Grey enter is N. Just pop in chat whether you want to see accent for yes or N for no accent. Let me know, guys, what you think. Okay. Well, I think if we go with accent enter, which is what chat seems to be suggesting, then I think we're going to go for accent escape, right? So that's easy. That's the easy part. That's the easy part. We're going to pop that up there for F13. I don't care what anyone says. That's what I want to use there. Okay, so we don't need any of these anymore. The next question now is, do you want to see accent space or not? So we've got two choices for spacebar. We can either go purple, pink purple, or we can go grey. You guys can pick. Now the F13 is the wrong color. The F13 is fine. It'll do. Okay, so guys, if you want to see the pink, vote yes. Vote Y. If you want to see the white, vote N. So let me know what you want to see. So N is for the white, yes is for the pink. Okay, well this is pretty easy. Everyone wants to see the great ones. There we go. There we go, guys. That's the build done. This looks significantly better than the previous choices we made. But here is the Frog TKL in black with GMK muted, a couple of accents, stepped caps lock, F13, win keyless, 7U bottom row, H1 switches, aluminium plate. That looks a fuck ton better than Future Funk. Yeah, right? Right? So there we go. Look at this side profile though. Like, how good is that curve? I love that. And the base as well. That's begging for me to do some infill on that logo at some point. But there we go, guys. That's the Frog TKL build. Very, very happy with that. For a pleb, how much does this cost? GMK muted, I bought it in group buy. I think it was $130 about 5 years ago. The keyboard was $250, but I did get the streamer edition price, so I didn't pay full price for it. I think all in for this board, I'm probably about $550. I think if you bought it on the aftermarket, the exact same setup on the aftermarket, you'd probably be looking at closer to $900, I think. I don't know. We'll see. As far as I'm aware, it's a $7 degree typing angle. Yes, it might be 6 actually. It looks slightly lower. I'm going to guess it's 6 just from looking at it, but it could be 7. I can't remember. I can't recall. You'd have to look at GeonWorks Frog TKL and check the angle. What do I use for infill? I tend to use acrylic paints, and I'll actually show you on stream. I've done it before on stream, but effectively we use acrylic paint and a small rubber tool, and you just scrape the paint in and then clean it off afterwards with a little bit of isopropyl alcohol, and it works really well. So I can show that on stream at some point, but we're probably going to infill it with black just on the brass. It'll look really nice. I clear them manually, but I do have a conveyor belted 3D printer that I need to set up as well. Yeah, I thought it looked like 6 degrees looking at it. It didn't look like 7 degrees. But these particular two I clear manually, yeah. Okay, should we do a bit of a sound test and see how it sounds? Let's pause the music for a second. Take my headphones off, and let's see how the sound comes out. Okay, so that sounds really good. It's pretty quiet. It's not a loud board. It's pretty quiet. I think that's a lot of it's the tadpoles. They're so soft that they're masking up a lot of the sound. I'd be interested to try it with some of the tougher tadpoles later on. But that sounds really nice. It's like a really quiet, slightly thocky, but just a generally nice, quiet sound. Like raindrops, more almost like raindrops on concrete rather than on a tin roof. It's good. I like it a lot. My typing style is horrific. I've told this before on stream, but when I learned how to type, I'm nearly 40, and I learned to type on old ThinkPads. So you're talking back in the late 90s, early 2000s on ThinkPads, and these were huge behemoths of laptops back then, and you basically had to control the mouse with 2 thumbs. So I had two click buttons here, which was what one thumb did. The other thumb did the mouse tracking, and I typed at the same time, but I always kept my thumbs where the mouse was because I like to be able to be in control of it. I did a lot of data entry at that point in my life, and that was how I learned how to type. So yeah. How does it feel compared to the F1? I think I prefer the feel of the F1, but I think it's the tadpoles that are throwing me off a little bit. There is a little bit of flex in the board. It's difficult to show you on stream, but there is a little bit of flex in the board. I want to try with the stiffer tadpoles over the next couple of days and see how I get on. But definitely ask me next week. It may not be very efficient, but it's strangely beautiful. It's not efficient at all, but it's comfortable to me. I actually get wrist cramps if I try and type properly. I get wrist cramps if I try and type correctly. So I just type how it's more comfortable to me. Tomo and H1 sounds similar, maybe just me. Haven't built a Tomo yet, so I can't confirm or deny on that one, but at some point soon I will be building them, yeah. Yeah, very happy with it. Poppy's a good way of saying it. I'm very firm on the spacebar because I use an index finger. It's very firm. Most people press with their thumb quite softly. Because I'm an index finger spacer, it's really a loud jab that I do. So my spacebars always sound a lot louder than they actually are in reality. But yeah, thoroughly impressed with this board. For the price, I don't understand how it's this cheap. Like, I don't understand how they made it this cheap. I can see where they've cut some corners, and by say cut some corners, I mean like they didn't use a daughter board for the USB and stuff like that, but all of the machining is stunning. Like the way the machining's done and the way the design actually flows together is really clever. Like this cut here, this surface here, this bow here, it actually blends into the fillet on the side, the chamfer on the side, sorry. And the fact that the seam is designed to be visible just really enhances that. It just works really well together. The two play off each other really well. And then plus this little slanted front lip here, like that just works so well. Like it's hard to show you the slanted front lip, but this slanted front lip here works so well, so nice. Very, very, very happy with that. Let's compare it to the TKL, the F18X. So here is my F18X. I mean, first things I notice is the anodization is way better on this. Like, you can see it's got some greasy fingerprints on it from where I built it, but this is way better anodization than the F18X. The typing angle is slightly lower. I prefer a steeper angle, so I think this is still my favorite, but I do prefer this front edge. I think if the F18X had this front edge and these dimensions on the bezels, I'd be much happier. I think looks-wise, the Frog looks better. I think the F18X is slightly better for me in terms of comfort for typing, but yeah. That side profile's hard to beat, right? I mean, look at that. It's just so hard to beat. It's just lovely. From whichever angle you look at it, it's just great. And this looks good too. I do like the look of this. I like how chunky this is, but they're very different boards. Is there any downside to hot swap? Seems weird that an $80 board would have it, but a $250 doesn't. Hot swap, I don't like hot swap personally. I prefer to solder my switches. Feels much more secure. I don't see hot swap as being a feature. Personally, I see it as a negative, and I know some people feel that way as well, but it's not always the case. Wait, your F1 is ANSI. Did you get a universal plate of swag keys when you got your Frog? I do have an ISO build for it as well. I haven't built it yet, but I've got 6 of these, so maybe 7 or 7 I think. So I have a couple that are ANSI and the rest are ISO. What's your word per minute? Because it looks really fast, but it might be an illusion. About 90 words per minute. It's not super fast. It's not super fast. GeonWorks is only on swag keys at the minute. Yes, that's correct. What's the keycaps on the F1? This is GMK Solarized Dark. That's GMK Solarized Dark. Yeah, I don't think I've ever swapped switches that much for a daily driver. Like, if I do, I like the process of desoldering and I like the process of resoldering, but that's just me. Like, I just prefer it that way. I get why people like hot swap, because it means they can have multiple builds with the same switches and they just switch it around, haha, pun intended. But for me, I don't like that. I prefer to have a soldered in switch. I just feel that that's a more premium way of doing it. Hot swap feels like it's the quick and easy way of doing it and not having to think about it. Cool. Okay, guys, so if you've got any final questions, please do let me know. Ask away in chat. Now, we're going to end the stream in a few minutes. We'll find someone to raid in a second. But do remember, we've got a stream on Tuesday night at about 8 p.m., 9 p.m. UK time, where we're going to do a few things. We're actually going to laser etch a GeonWorks F18X, and we're going to put a cool design on an F18X, or at least try to, using my laser in the workshop. And at the same time, we're also going to create a new sign for the prototypist wall. So as you can see, I've been redecorating the office. The old sign that was on the wall here that you might have seen in the Insta stories, that's now gone, and we're going to create and make a brand new sign that's going to be LED lit. It's going to have logos etched into it, all kinds of stuff. We're actually going to make that on stream as well on Tuesday. So Tuesday is going to be very much a making stream for stuff for the office. It's going to be out in the workshop using the workshop camera setup, and we're going to have some fun with that. So do check back for that. That's as I say, that's going to be Tuesday night between 8 and 9 start time. I'll go on for a couple of hours at the very least. Lots of lasering to do, which is quite exciting. Okay, so let's see if we can find someone to raid. Let's see who's online. Let's see who's online in Just Makers and Crafting. I'm not looking for anyone particular. It doesn't have to be keyboard related. Just someone doing something cool. Tim Keyless is doing a 9165 build. Someone's doing some stitching. Dr. Cat Builds is building a Lego Lamborghini. That sounds cool. Let's go raid Dr. Cat builds for the Lego Lamborghini. Let's go and raid them. That's what we're gonna do. Let me mute that because you guys can hear it. Let's go raid Dr. Cat as well. Let's but thank you very much for being here, guys. I appreciate you all following me. I appreciate you being here for the stream all day today. Let's go raid Dr. Cat. I hope she has a great time and a great stream. I'll be here again next week building another keyboard, hopefully the F18X that we're going to laser on Tuesday. We'll see how that goes. If it goes well, that's what we'll be building next week. But we're also going to be making signs and doing all sorts of other cool stuff. So come back and check us out then. And thank you very much, guys. Go buy something on the store, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.